Welcome back, everybody. Welcome into another week of The Other Team. Jacob Handy, Terrence Scott, Zach.
Yeah.
Zach, who'd you bring with us? Yeah. That's like, I'm so excited to start now every time. I just want to know what pops.
We've actually made major changes. And you can't really see the bobbleheads today. I was having trouble with my desk and my stage manager had to go to work early. But we do have life-size Groot, which I was so stoked to bring out this week. That is such a fire pop to me. Super cool. Austin Powers is sitting on top of him. Do I make you feel Randy, baby? I just had to give an Austin Powers. I had to do it. I'm sorry. Brienne of Tarth is next to.
Brienne of Tarth is dope.
Banger. I have like only one athlete on the set today, and that's right underneath Brienne. That's Bubba. We had to pull out Bubba. Cool ass one. And then over my head, which you can't see as well today, there's a Thor one behind me, and also a Invisible Woman from the Fantastic Four. So very like kind of nerdy comic booky.
That Griffey bobblehead was definitely nice.
Yeah, Griffey's in there, but the Dodgers starting lineup that's behind my chair has made major changes. We have brought all of the World Series guys up to the front. So Kershaw, Kenley, Belly, and Turner have all made their way to the very front of the lineup.
They earned it.
And they earned their way to the front of the desk. Shout out Kenley, man. He's been struggling to get to the front of the desk since we
started. Shout out Kenley in the hoodie, man.
And so to see him have two good appearances, stare the death stare into the Dodger dugout and not even the opposing dugout, I felt like that was definitely worthy of front desk type stuff. That's front desk caliber attitude.
That was like, Dave was like, yeah, bet, cool.
Yeah.
Nice stare down.
Way to get it down today.
If that's what it takes, man. If that's what it takes, we'll get into it later. If that's what it takes, I hope Dave hasn't shown him any love either. Like, I hope it's all the same. But yeah, so that's what we got with us. Very, very like nerdy, comic-y today. But Bubba still made the set. We had to have an athlete out here somewhere.
Closer mentality swagger for sure from Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, front of the
Speaking
desk.
Speaking of swagger, we wanted to start today. Nice. We once did this with the college hoops talk. We were talking about like
oh yeah, we did.
If you would wear the t-shirt under the jersey or what you would wear. Zach got weird Lonzo Ball swag, and he did like one leg sleeve on like the wrong leg. I don't know,
ankle socks and whatnot.
It was weird.
Chill. I don't know.
He was in like Asics. He wasn't even in Nikes. It was weird.
He
was in a Klay Thompson's.
I want to know.
Want to do this anymore.
It's a World Series edition of that. I want to know if you were a baseball player, obviously in the pros, what are you going with? What's your look? What's your swagger? High socks, low socks?
I'm going
the whole nine.
The socks is tricky because I may go no socks, well, like not showing any socks sometimes. But if I am going to show it, it's not going to be like the striped, extra out socks. It would just be like some traditional,
like not the stripes, right?
Yeah. And then you got to have like the not long sleeves, but you got to have like the half sleeve that somewhat comes out of your jersey.
Over the elbow, above the elbow.
Right here. Zach always wears it perfect. Right here.
Right
yeah, like somewhere like right there. Somewhere right there. It depends if it's pulling when I'm swinging, I'll probably not want it there and probably pull it up on my elbow. But depends. But then we're going chains, dude. I'm definitely rocking the gold.
How many though?
Big gold rope.
Plural.
One. I'm going. I know, but I'm going
like
one.
Mook?
It depends. Yeah, because I think I'm gonna get a thick gold rope, and I don't want multiple shit bouncing when I'm running. So I'll probably just get the thick gold rope, and I don't know if I want a medallion. Maybe get like a sick ass ball.
Poppy made me almost want a medallion. Like I never thought about having a medallion, and then Big Poppy's gigantic Flavor Flav medallion on the Goodbye tour was just bonkers. And I was like, maybe I do want a medallion if I was in the pros. Like that might be fire.
I just feel like if I slide head first, that shit go hurt.
bounce off the ground like into your face, like.
Or you just hit it on your chest and you just got a big ass mark on your chest.
What's your bill? What's the bill of your hat? Are you like Fernando Rodney? Are you gonna be like this?
Sideways? Nah.
Are we going straight? Is it like Mookie kind of flat? He kind of got like a flat bill, kind of like Mook. Do you want a slight bend? Do you want to be like those weirdo pitchers where there's shit's like this?
Like a duck? Yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying?
With the duck hat.
No duck bills.
I feel like you can only have a duck bill and you can only have your shit a little cockeyed if you're like a closer or like a pitcher, and like that's it. Like if I see you at shortstop and your shit's like this, like I'm running up on you. I think like I don't know, I'm sliding dirty. Like it's just not a good look. That shit looks trash.
I think I need like Zach's got a pretty decent bend right now.
That's probably how my bend would be with my hat.
Just that perfect.
I'm like Dom Kennedy.
Right.
On the field.
Just that perfect crease on it is just. Somebody always told me if you touch together, you could get it. If you touch the inside of it, I don't know. I always felt like it did it a little too much at that point.
Yeah, that sounds like too much bend to me then.
But you got to get a good bend in the bill. I don't like straight bill stuff. The straight bill is weak to me.
Okay, so here's the next thing. JT is like 2 buttons down. He's
Oh
wild.
my God.
Are you guys like that many buttons? I can only do 1 button down.
I think I'm all up. I like the buttons all the way. I'm like
Kyle
Chris
said
Taylor.
he's buttoned his shit. I was like, all the way up? You're not gonna
Every
even
button.
let one fly?
Nope.
I feel like that's
To me, button. I don't know. The buttons. It's maybe one.
JT and hand ram. Hand ram used to have like 6
shit
buttons
open.
down.
Shit was
Hey.
like borderline not on. I was like, oh, okay. I feel
The
it.
hand ram. Man, Hanley had a nice swag actually. I used to like him in the swag.
That was my boy. That's like still one of my favorite. When the Dodgers got him, ooh, I almost jumped through the ceiling on my roof.
I think I'm doing high socks for sure.
What about glasses?
and one
though?
chain?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not going glasses. I'm
Flip
going
downs.
eye paint. No glasses for me. I'm going eye paint.
Like the Harper, the Bryce Harper. Huh?
Mhm.
Day game.
I don't like-
I
I
don't
don't
even
like
care
shades.
where the sun is. If the sun's out, I got flip downs on.
No flip
I
downs.
just don't like. I don't.
I feel
I've
like
yet
I'm
to
fucking
find
it up
any
and I'm
that
gonna
are
hit the bill
fly,
of my
but
head.
like. I feel like to help my team out, I probably need to get the flip downs because I'm playing out in the center,
And then
losing balls and shit. They're
I'm
gonna hit
doing
me, but-
like the orange too. I'm doing like the orange lenses too, like the orange
Yeah, I want that,
reflector
like,
ass range.
polarizing.
But I
That
hate
shit,
those.
for sure.
Those are the I already called the cop glasses, but
no,
But
but they're so
I'm on
the
swaggy in a
diamond.
baseball uniform.
But I'm on
you
the
know?
diamond.
Like, they're so swaggy. No, so
It's not
fire.
like I'm bopping.
I'll be the
around
first in
town to
baseball to
lunch.
get like a deal with Ray-Bans or something that just got some shit, some wafers out there looking swaggy in the field.
the moment that the shadows start coming out, like I put them on top of the hat upside down, like I'm looking gas out there. I'm about to
Hey,
look like
that's
a
an
problem.
idea right there.
I'm-
Somebody probably already did that. Got some swaggy little shades custom made.
Man, I'm Jacob knows though. Yeah, I'm like this, but I gotta have like the Tulowitzki tape. I gotta have the wrist tape on there too. I'm gonna need like a fighting wrist bracelet on the left wrist. Okay, and this is important to me though. Like your sleeve, your quarter sleeve, only one. You can't have 2 quarter sleeves, and you gotta have one, and it's like gotta be on your throwing arm. I think it's weak when it's on your non-throwing arm. Like what are we doing? What are you keeping warm over there?
Are you going elbow protector or shin protector or foot ankle protector?
I feel like I'm the type of guy where
I'm
I gotta get hurt first. I don't want it until you peg me, then I'm gonna start wearing it. But like
Then
until
you're
I
gonna
get
have
hurt,
the Giancarlo like coming over the face.
That is
I
super
hope I don't
weak.
get hit
I
up
don't-
there. I
yeah.
hope I don't get hit up there.
Yelich got it
It's
too
like,
though. But I'll tell you
golly.
now, if I got hit in the face, I'd probably want that.
Oh yeah, the way
All
he
the
got
guys
hit,
that-
oh, I don't know if I could have stepped back in the box, dog. Like, that's my biggest nightmare as a player. Whoa, that was wild. But
what type of
No.
chain though? If you notice like the Astros, like Springer got like the black diamond wild
No, gold.
shit going on.
Gold.
Some guys got gold, some guys got like silver, platinum.
I like gold.
Jock's is best friends with Ben Baller, the jeweler, and he's got like a really nice like choker diamond. But anyways,
I'm going gold.
I think it's time.
Speaking of gold, we have a very special guest with us today. Sideline journalist for ESPN. I seen her working all the Big West games. Seen her on TV, worked beside her. All kinds of great stuff. Without further ado, fellow Big West alum from UC Irvine, Miss Olivia Phelps, to join the show today. Connecting right now.
yeah, it's loading up.
Ta-da!
Ah,
Hey, there we go. As I just said, Olivia Phelps joining us today, sideline reporter for ESPN, covered much of the Big West, seen her do baseball, basketball, amongst other things. Welcome to the show, Miss Olivia.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
We are excited to have you today. Pretty laid back, just kind of talk a lot about sports. We've been bringing on guests the last couple of weeks to, different parts of sports media and kind of just tell some of their favorite stories about, being in this world that we all are in right now.
Yeah, I love it. Stories are the best part.
Awesome. So I'll just jump right into it. Obviously, a couple months ago, things got kind of crazy. Sports changed, took a big break from sports. How did you keep yourself busy when COVID hit and kind of the sports world kind of took that halt for a little bit?
Yeah, that was a wild couple of weeks, I think, for everyone. but especially in the sports industry. It was an incredibly busy time in our world. As you guys know and are familiar with, it was the middle of March Madness, and I was working for the Orange County Sports Commission at the time, and we had just had our first board meeting. So we had a big event at Honda Center at a Ducks game, and it was just like all of this excitement, and the Honda Center was getting ready to transition to the Big West Conference basketball tournament, and everything just went from 100 to 0 in one night. I think we all remember watching the NBA that night as everything started shutting down. So it was a really strange time, and I think there were just so many question marks, and everything was changing, minute to minute. So in the beginning, it was, okay, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Right. Everyone work from home, set yourself up with whatever you need. Our company was incredible at the commission, and they made sure everyone had the equipment that they needed and the technology that they needed. And my specific team in the sports department, we had a huge trip planned to go to Colorado Springs and FaceTime with all of the Olympic committee and coaches. And it was my first time going to be out there. So we were so excited, and that was going to be like mid-April. And I just remember my boss being like, we're still going to Colorado. Like everything is as planned. And, now looking back, it's kind of funny. So everything just started to trickle down. Obviously the Big West Conference tournament was canceled, and that was an event that I was supposed to work. I got up that Thursday morning. The ESPN crew that I work with had been there all night setting up, and they were all ready to go as the news started to trickle down, which just made everything, I think, more dramatic. There were people on site, and the UC Irvine, the defending champion, was actually on the court having practice. So again, it was just like really dramatic. And again, things just started to kind of trickle down. And so once it was apparent that things were going to be quiet for a while, we all got laid off at the commission. Again, the ESPN crew that I work with, we primarily only cover the Big West Conference, and the Big West had shut down. There was no NCAA. So I actually was super fortunate. I was working for Roy Edmondson at the commission. He was my direct boss. So when we all got laid off, he, in his entrepreneurial spirit, he's founded 3 companies since. So he kind of took me. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was so blessed to be kind of taken under his wing, and he had me do all of the marketing and social media and PR. I was writing press releases. And none of it was in the sports industry, obviously, which is also, it's so wild because everyone says, sports are recession proof. And this is apparently not pandemic proof, but we all just kind of like experienced it together. So I've been doing that for quite a few months now. I think the first company that he started was literally like back in May. So he just hit the ground running. And again, I was so blessed to like be part of his team that he put together. And then I've been working on a podcast in the meantime. So this is super fun to be on this side of it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it just kind of, that really, again, was such a big blessing because it's something that I've been wanting to do for so long. Like 2 summers ago, I sat down with a producer and was like, what equipment do I need to get? And, life just kind of got crazy. So I had everything done. I had the equipment, I had a dream guest list, I had, storylines and what I wanted it to look like. So I kind of just picked all that back up, literally like pulled out old notebooks. And that's given me a space to kind of be creative again. And, I love interviewing people. So it was like finally starting to feel like yourself again.
I think for us, that was kind of the same thing. Like we've known each other since high school, and we always, when we got into journalism and stuff, like, oh, we got to do sports podcasting, got to do it. And the pandemic, as weird as it sounds, was such a land of opportunity for us. Like we took this podcast to such a new level with just like that opportunity, like you said, to kind of do it. You don't really have nowhere else to go. If the stuff's there at your disposal, like go for it. It's so crazy how something like this can be kind of like a moment of opportunity for certain things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it had us stay in the house to where we had to focus on the things that we truly wanted to do. So it was definitely a unique opportunity.
Yeah, definitely time to reflect. And I think one of the biggest things I realized was I had this notion pre-COVID that if I had all of this extra time, which, working in the sports industry, you don't have, it was like this magical, like, oh, I would do all of these things. And then all of a sudden you have this time and it's like, wow, I still don't want to do a lot of that.
Yeah.
So kind of put into perspective, like what you actually want to do and what you actually like. So
yeah, when you had all the time and you still were trying to, like, I'm gonna go get the oil change today instead of start this project I've been telling myself I want to do.
Exactly.
Okay, take a little bit trip down memory lane. Tell us some of your favorite stories. Off the rip, tell us just when you think of, I've seen you do baseball and basketball and a ton of college sports. There's always such a good story in a college sport. What was one of your favorite games to cover? Just like a story you ran into through the game that you always sticks out in your mind.
Oh man, that is a great question. So many just came to mind, so I'm trying to pick which one. I think the moments that seem magical and that really put into perspective like why you do what you do. And I know we've talked about it so many times about when you put in that legwork and you do your homework and you research and Google and you dive deep into these people's pasts and injury stories or whatever it might be, you put yourself in a position to get such a cool story. And the game that came to mind was actually at Long Beach State. It was UC Davis a couple years ago, men's basketball. And there was an student athlete by the name of TJ Shorts. And I had just done
so exciting.
Right. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I had just done a feature on him back when the Big West Conference still had tour, which was the conference would visit each Big West campus during the men's and women's basketball season. And I was fortunate enough to get to go on site to all of those campuses and film within like 24 hours, film and turn around a feature that we would use back in Orange County for broadcasts and we'd put out on social media. And I had just sat down with TJ and he had just an incredible story. I don't want to do him a disservice at saying how tall he is, but I'm taller than him. I'm 5'7".
Yeah, that's what makes him so exciting though.
Yes. And just that kid that you can't not root for, does everything the right way, so thoughtful, so well-spoken. His teammates and coaches couldn't say enough nice things about him. And so it was just this person that you want so badly to succeed. And he had gotten his opportunity to play at Davis. And in this particular game, UC Davis was without their should have been taking them to the ship like guy and Chima Maneki, and we had built the whole broadcast around him. And so it was just this really dramatic moment.
I was working, I think I was doing the pregame show at Long Beach State for this game for the radio station. And if I remember right, Chime was a late scratch and nobody knew why he wasn't playing. It was like literally like 30 minutes before game time. They're like, okay, Chime Maneki's not playing. Right. And we were all in the studio like, okay, like, I guess that's weird. Sorry, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, exactly. And if you had 30 minutes of leeway, that was a lot longer than we had on the floor. I was actually just talking to coworkers about this. And maybe I'm remembering it more dramatic than it was, but it was like minutes before we were going.
It was
on
very
air.
Short notice.
Yeah. And we had taped a live open or we had taped a pre-recorded open. And so, it's just that like chaos of what are we going with? And we had, again, built the whole game around, it was like big versus big. And it was, I can't think of his last name now.
Gabe Levin.
Thank you, Gabe Levin. I wanted to say Gabe Vincent, wrong Gabe. Gabe Levin and Chima Maneki. And so anyway, it was kind of like Long Beach State, it's their game now. And as we know, the game played out. It was a buzzer beater and TJ Shorts just had like an incredible game and I got to interview him. And that was my first experience in a buzzer beater situation. And it was chaos. And I'm like, how do I get in there? And I mean, again, he you watch the tape still now and it gives me goosebumps. Everyone charged the court and their team's running around and their coaches dancing on the sidelines. And again, it was just like the Big West had put in that legwork. The crew had put in that work of knowing who this player was and who this kid was and what he meant to the team and to the program. And so getting to give him that spotlight, like in his moment, was just so special.
That was
He's
such a
like
crazy
seriously one of the
game.
best people I've ever got a chance to even talk to, just working in the Big West. He's just such a good kid. He was so great. And he was exciting. And I was obviously working Long Beach State stuff, so it was like he was just always giving me the worst, just the worst. Like I'm just like, I'm excited for you, kid, but if you could wait till next week would be much better. He was always exciting to watch against them. Those buzzer beater moments, like you talked about in your first one. It's funny, like when you're a kid playing sports, you're always practicing being TJ Shorts. But then obviously I realize I'm not TJ Shorts anymore, but I want to be the sideline reporter or the play-by-play guy or whatever, you start running those same scenarios through your mind, but like on the other end. And like you said, the buzzer beater hits and it's almost like, oh shit, like how do I get in there? Where am I supposed to be? It's so funny to still get those moments, even when you don't get to be TJ Shorts, and like instinct just takes over and you're just like, okay, no, I know this is how I get there. This is where I'm at. Yeah. Those moments are always so funny. I love those moments every time.
Yeah. And that's what makes it so fun. Like, I mean, most of us are not going to be professional athletes or get to have those moments on the floor, being the ones sinking that final shot. But when you work in sports, you're still in the midst of that pandemonium and the adrenaline. And I mean, like you said, you guys know, being in that moment and knowing, you also know that I love to say like how to package that moment. To me, like that's the game that we get to play, you know?
Yeah,
exactly.
Got to capture that moment. That's crazy good. Okay, so two ends of the spectrum. You know, we used to love watching Greg Popovich roast the sideline reporter, right? Like, and it's like you get the Greg Popoviches, but you also get people who are like full of color and give you good interviews. Who is your favorite sideline interview and who is the toughest sideline interview?
Oh, such a good question. It like gives me anxiety as you like talk about those moments. My experience obviously is with the Big West Conference, and the coach that gives everyone that anxiety is definitely Russ Turner at UC Irvine.
I knew it. Jacob said you were going to say
I was like,
too.
she's going to say Russell Turner because he's crazy.
He's passionate, which makes him, I mean, he does this thing where you ask a question and without fail, and he's thinking, so there's a point to it, but he pauses and it's like 2 seconds of dead airtime to you feels like the world is caving in. And so we all talk about it as silent reporters, and it's kind of like now a badge of honor that's like, I asked Russ a good question, or like that was a good question. So earning his respect is really special. But yeah, that's definitely the coach that I would say is the most anxiety inducing. The most fun, that's a good one. Oh, that's so tough. Trying to think of like a coach in particular that stands out. I think again, it's kind of like,
I was gonna say Russ can kind of be both ends of this, because it's like you don't not like interviewing him. It's like you said, like you get that badge of honor. It's like a little bit of a challenge. You know, you got to be definitely prepared to go get him.
Yeah. Iran did not.
I feel like his aura. I feel like his aura like plays into everything. He's got that voice. He's just like big, intimidating a little bit. Like his whole aura just plays into being the tough interview, but also the fun interview. Like he's just, it's so funny that Jake said that, because he's the best.
I had like watched from like the stands, you know, like just as like a fan, probably like 3 UC Irvine games, and I was like, man, their coach is like, or even seen them on TV on ESPN 3, and I was like, God, they got one of those coaches, you know. And then I worked floor cam for one of the UC Irvine games where I was like directly next to him, and I had to like film the interview, and like I was just like, holy shit, and like pardon my French, but that's all I could think was like, I'm filming and he's on the sidelines, and like it's abrasive how you hear him. Like I named our bracket that one year, Zach. My March Madness bracket was Russell Turner's cough drops, and like, because he really just goes through them, and it was unlike anything I'd ever. And that's why I was just like, I couldn't imagine having to stick a mic in this guy's face, and I don't even know what I would say. I would just be like, just get me out of here, please get me out of here. He's the wildest personality for sure in the Big West. That's too funny.
Yeah, but like you said, I 100% agree that he's who you want to ask questions, because again, it's like earning that respect. And when you ask a good question, you get a good answer. There's no better feeling than that.
Yeah,
Man,
for sure.
he's insane.
What was the other name you mentioned?
Aranganat out of Hawaii men's basketball. He's another that he would not.
He's like stoic.
Yeah, very. Like if you ask him a stupid question, he's gonna look at you like you're stupid.
Whoa.
And so when you the biggest thing is just like to get them talking. You want to like touch on something that's gonna make them I don't know,
elaborate.
Light up a little bit. And so getting him to give you an in-depth answer is another like, okay, I can breathe for a second.
Dude, those Big West coaches will humble you. I remember like the first big thing I did was Long Beach State volleyball, when the first one of the back-to-back championships that season. And like I walked into my first post-game presser and like immediately asked Alan Knipe about like this historic undefeated streak. And Alan Knipe looks at me and is like, shut the hell up, basically. He's like, we're not even worried. Like that's nothing. And like I've only had like maybe one interview with them. Like they will humble you. Like you said, you got to ask it the right way and get them talking, kind of like, it was hilarious. I'll never forget that. I was like, okay, don't go there for a while. Like, oh my God.
I once asked Deshaun Booker, I worded it so bad. I said like it was after he had set the free throw record in the Big West tournament or something. And I'm like, when you're up there, are you thinking about it? Are you nervous? And like Dan Munson didn't even let him answer. He just jumped in front of that and was like, we don't think about records here. We're trying to win tomorrow. I was like, got it. Good. Check mark.
It's so much better though if you can be in a situation like that and learn when you are so green, because you want to make the mistakes early on when you're still learning and you're in a position of, you know, being a student or being straight out of college, where it's not that it's tolerated, but you're still learning, and it's constantly an education. So they did me such a service.
I couldn't agree more. I would definitely rather Dan Munson be the one to give me my mistake than like a Doc Rivers. Like I would definitely rather be there. I feel like the moment would be much bigger if it was somebody like that. Give us the biggest event or game you have ever covered, and what were your feelings when you were going into covering that game?
Yeah, also such a good question. I think about this a lot because I feel like the world perceives big games in a particular way, and sometimes it might not be like the championship or the record-breaking performance. But I do have to say that getting to cover the men's volleyball national championship 2 years in a row was just absolutely incredible. And going into the game, so I wasn't on sideline. I was, for the second time, which was 2019, I was producing a docuseries. So I was behind the scenes, working with a crew of cam operators. And I think for that particular game, I want to say we had like upwards of 8 people operating cameras around the gym. So I was not nervous in the traditional sense of the word. We were just so excited to get to be part of what was unfolding in front of us. And so a little bit of backstory, we followed the Long Beach State men's volleyball team as they defended their national championship heading into that 2019 season. And we already knew that Long Beach State was going to host. So I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but
Right.
for anyone that doesn't. And so we had pitched a series that, let's be like Hard Knocks, let's be like in the trenches, on the bus, in workouts, in weightlifting. Let's mic people up on during practice. And so everything had played out beautifully. They were in the national championship. They had lost the Big West tournament. So they were playing Hawaii again, who they had lost to in the Big West tournament final. So it was just like, you can't write a story as beautiful as the way that it organically happened. And I remember talking to our crew right beforehand, and it was like, you know, what if they lose?
Oh, tough.
Yeah, of course so.
Yeah, and which was a very real possibility. And it was just kind of like, either way, like, this is an incredible story. Like, what we've gotten to witness, what we're going to be able to show people, what we've been able to document and record, and how we're going to be able to put it together. And anyway, so we go into that final match, and Long Beach State wins. And it was, I'm trying to think of the right word to describe it. Satisfying is coming to mind, but that's not the right word. I think just so like overwhelming, maybe, of, you know, again, like, this is what we have worked for. This is like what we've prepared for, like directing everyone at the end. But at that point, you know, as the celebration was happening, I didn't even have to tell people where to go. Like, they instinctively knew, like exactly what you said before. They instinctively knew, and we had been there so many times. Again, credit to Long Beach State and to head coach Alan Knight for giving us that opportunity. Like, they knew which players to follow and when to be there. And I think, as someone who had tried to orchestrate that, it was so exciting to see it all unfold. And again, covering a national championship, there's nothing like it. And just watching, you know, these kids experience something that they've dreamed about their entire lives, and, you know, so desperately wanting to feel what that moment feels like, was just really, really exciting.
Something
I
about
love that docu-series, by the way.
it was really good.
I was so close to the first team that won, and then you put that team together for the next team, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so stuck. I love all those guys. The Amato interviews were some of the best. Like, oh man, that was
He's
just so
crazy
good.
too,
So
by the
stoked
way.
on-
I didn't realize how crazy he was. I was doing a water polo, like play-by-play for a water polo game, and like a bunch of the volleyball dudes showed up to like cheer on their water polo friends.
Oh yeah, he
And
brings the
Nick
energy.
Amato was like in a Speedo, no shirt, like running up and down the student section, like getting like he was the hype man, like, for it. And it was cold. Like, it was a night game, and it was like, I don't know, probably like, I mean, it was Long Beach cold, so it was like 55 degrees or something. And he didn't care. Like, he was just no shirt. I got to get the crowd hype. He was the main guy in the student section. And I looked at, I think I did it with Zach, and I looked over, I was like, isn't that the dude from the volleyball team? He was like, I guess he's the water polo guy. I was like, I guess he's a character for sure.
That's awesome. No, he has such a special place in my heart. It was kind of a joke, because I got to sit down with him a couple of times even before the docu-series, and it was kind of a joke, like, at the Big West office at the time. It was like, oh, are you talking to Nick Amato? Because they like all knew that he was secretly my favorite. So
Love it. Too funny. Anybody else got any other questions for Miss Olivia before we get into the game that Zach and I always get embarrassed? Apparently we don't know as much sports
I
stuff
just
as we
wanted,
don't
like, do you
know.
plan on circling back around to like sideline stuff when it becomes available and we kind of get back to real sports and all that?
yes, absolutely. I am counting down the days.
Yeah,
No one knows when we're
because I
counting
can't
down
imagine
until,
going
but-
to any big West game. Every big West game for any sport I've ever been to, I've run into you. Like, literally since I met you in Gary's class, every big West game, I'm like, oh yeah, Olivia's got this. Like, you're at all of them, so I couldn't imagine like you not coming back around. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, I actually just saw some of our crew members the other week, and, you know, we're all kind of in the same boat of, you know, what's going to happen. And again, the ESPN crew that I work for is Big West specific. So it all depends on when the Big West comes back. But yes, everyone is rearing at the bit and can't wait to be back in a gym or on the field. And yeah, it's definitely a strain. I mean, as you know, especially when it's what you do on a daily basis, and
Right.
it's part of your identity, and it's a very strange thing. I was talking with Courtney Sweet the other day, and it's like, we just miss cameras so much.
Yeah.
I used to, like, my least favorite part of which is so silly, and I hate saying it every time, but like getting ready,
Mhm.
like picking out an outfit and you can't wear the same thing, and it's so silly, but it's always so stressful. Like I hate that part, and even now I'm like, oh my gosh, please, like I just want to get ready and like
I would kill to
yeah.
wear
feel
this
that.
outfit again.
Yes, like feel those game day like feels. I always wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and go over my notes and just kind of like let everything sink in one more time. And I miss that so much. So I cannot wait.
I miss hearing our producer Joe Hood just yell. I don't even care if he's yelling at me or who. I just miss hearing him yell. I don't even know.
Yeah, I would like wrangle cables. I would, let me unload the truck. Like I'll do anything at this point.
Whatever he tells me, he's abrasive, but in the best way. It is hilarious. I miss hearing that guy yell for sure.
Right. So are you coming back when they come back?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm just
absolutely.
much like everybody, just waiting to get the sports back. I miss being out there and then getting it done. But yeah, that's just we're all waiting game it is.
Yes. And they can
I-
take their time.
I'm
but-
pretty sure I have this ready now because if you ever
Yeah,
seen Olivia, I have messed up on this show before and given away all the answers to these questions inadvertently by sharing the screen and messing it all up. So fingers crossed, knock on
All
wood.
right.
What do we do? We went 4 for 5 when we did basketball last time, and I crushed it. We should have went 5 for 5, and I messed up. I'm just gonna say.
Yes.
We might
So
need
as
you again,
always, we
Jake.
play a game called Guess That Whatever League. Normally, it originated as Guess That Clippers since them, Zach and Jacob are diehard Clipper fans, and then we have transitioned it to
nice.
Guess That NBA Player, and then we
Okay.
played Guess That NFL Player for another guess that we had, and then we're playing
Okay.
Guess That MLB Player today. And this is
Okay.
our first edition of this game, so I am excited to do it.
Forgot we did guess that NFL because poor Scott was a Jets fan. Poor guy.
yeah.
That was an intense one. All right,
Dun, dun, dun,
So,
dun, dun.
I'm fingers crossed.
I'm just gonna
Let's
cover
make
my
sure.
eyes because I don't trust Terrence. I'm just gonna cover
I'm not. I'm gonna catch the freebie because I don't care.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
It is no freebie this time. I figured it
cool.
out.
Okay.
All
All
here we
right.
go.
So as
Nice.
always, it is Guess That MLB Player Edition 1. So he played high school football
yeah,
with
okay.
quarterback Matthew Stafford of the Detroit Lions, and he has won 175 games in his career.
Mr. Heart Attack himself, Clayton Kershaw.
Game 1 starter for sure. Look
Game
at the
one
picture.
starter.
That's gotta be first pitch after giving up a dinger right there. It's gotta be.
I
first
had
pitch after a
to
dinger.
put that picture for him. All right, this one is a little bit harder. As each question, it should get harder. Question 5 should be the hardest out of each one. So as that one was pretty easy. It was Clayton Kershaw.
2013.
So
Already know who
retired in
this is.
2016. He gave a famous speech. He was drafted by the Minnesota Twins. He is a 3-time World Series champ, and he won the MVP, one of those World Series in 2013.
I'll save the day, but
Oh.
if you want to go ahead and guess, I'll save the day. I know who it is.
I think I got it, Jake, too.
Does
All
anybody
right,
want to?
well then.
It
I
is.
think
Olivia?
it's Poppy.
It's Big Poppy David Ortiz, drafted by the Twins, is what gave that one away.
Oh,
It is Big
Poppy.
Is that the one that gave it away?
That's what gave it away for me.
I got the MVP. I thought of the World Series MVP. Like I broke it down in my head. I'm like, okay, 2013.
All right, well then let's see if this one gets a little
There you
harder. He played 19 years in the MLB. He hit
Oh, you did
555 home runs. He
Oh.
disappeared mid-game to go use the restroom, and he is in the Hall of Fame, or going to be in the Hall of Fame. I should have double checked.
No, if it's the guy I think it is, he's not there yet. Wait, 19 years old? I wanted to say Manny Ramirez, but I'm not sure that Manny hit 550, and I'm also not sure that I feel like he's the bathroom guy.
Who was your other guess? Or commit to an answer.
I was
Zach,
gonna
what do you
say
think?
Manny
All you.
too,
All you.
but Manny didn't go to the bathroom. Remember, he went in like the scoreboard and popped his head out like a weirdo. He went inside the Fenway scoreboard.
Sammy Sosa? Did Sammy Sosa play 19?
That's so many.
Final
years.
guesses?
All right, Manny Ramirez.
Manny Ramirez.
It's Benny.
Let's go! Let's go!
Definitely disappeared in the Green Monster to
Still-
go use the restroom.
Oh, so it's all the same. Well, I'm like, it's all the same thing. I was like, where did he go? Why did he
Oh,
go
you
in
guys
there?
are good.
All right, this one is definitely getting harder. Born in
Oh,
Riverside, California, 7-time MVP, 8-time Gold Glove. He is a cousin of the Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson, and he was a father-son duo.
Zach, it looks like you
Father-son
have
duo.
it.
8 gold
Mhm.
gloves.
What's from Riverside?
Like,
Like what? Besides Kawhi, like what?
Reggie Miller. It's a few people from Riverside.
Oh my man.
Brother,
And apparently this guy. So
Riverside.
seven-time MVP, cousin
Oh
of
my
Reggie
goodness.
Jackson.
Oh, Jake, what do you got? Makes me feel like he's kind of older then. What do you think, Jake?
He's probably from like the 80s, maybe
Um,
the 90s.
Let's go. Who the hell has 7 MVPs? That's elite. That is elite status right there. This is like an all-timer. Ricky Henderson.
Oh, that's a good answer, Zach. I'll go with Ricky Henderson.
Olivia,
I'm with the boys.
you missed the bottom question. It is a father-son duo.
Oh.
Oh.
Barry's from Riverside?
Barry Bonds is from Riverside,
Come
California.
on, Barry.
I thought you would have got it with the 7 MVPs and 8 gold gloves. Like
I
that's
didn't even know
nobody
he
does
was-
that, but Barry.
I didn't
Uh,
I'm disappointed in myself.
yeah.
I'm disappointed.
This one is definitely like what
Yeah,
is
Barry's
Kershaw's
dad
filthiest pitch? What
played
is it?
too.
12-6. You guys are probably not getting this one. Played
Oh, whoa.
football in college. He also was drafted
Oh,
by the
come on.
Denver Broncos, ESPN analyst, and he's in the New York Mets organization.
I thought this was in my contract. No Tim Tebow questions.
Apparently it is not.
I don't know why you're against Tebow, Jake.
Dude, Tebow is the most gassed minor league baseball player of all time.
Well, you tell
I
me
love Tebow.
how you play college football and in the NFL and then go play in an organization like the New York Mets. That's pretty cool. So,
Hey, bro,
Tim
he hits
Tebow.
dingers. If you hit dingers,
so what
you
was
can
that? 5
stay.
for 5? Did you guys miss any?
We missed Barry Bonds.
That was
We
me.
said
Barry
Ricky
Bonds.
Henderson.
Oh yeah, you did miss.
Yeah, I'm always 4 for 5. Every
4 for 5.
time.
Thanks
Oh,
for carrying
wow.
us, you guys. That was great.
Got it. Got it.
Thank you for coming on, Olivia. It was awesome. Thank you for playing
Yeah.
Guess That MLB Player. That definitely was our first edition, so thank you for being a part of that.
Yeah, this was so
Yeah.
fun. Thanks for letting me come and reminisce a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Always good to see you, Olivia. And we go so far back. It's crazy. You're like one of the best people for our career, though. Like before you get off, I
Aw.
mean, our ESPN thing like led to basically everything else we've done. So like, thank you so much for that. That started with you.
Yeah, shout out to
Truly.
Gary, right?
Crazy
Yeah, man,
Gary.
for
My
sure.
God. My goodness. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Olivia, and hopefully we can have you back on shortly.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to come on.
Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks. Bye, you guys.
That was Olivia Phelps. Thank you so much once again for listening. I just realized, guys, I never did the Thrive ad.
Oh, well,
I just realized that the brand is strong. We had an ESPN reporter on it, so yeah.
We did
Really good
indeed.
job,
Let the
guys.
world know
Have
the
fun.
brand is strong. It's strong, man. It's strong, man. But that was cool.
Ricky
Very good.
Henderson. I knew that was Barry Bonds, man.
I don't know why Ricky felt
first off,
Ricky felt good to say.
Did Ricky Henderson dad play in the league?
I don't think so. I kind of got.
I
That's
felt
why I was
like-
like, I swear to God, I thought you guys was gonna say Griffey. I really thought the other guess was gonna be
No, because I knew he didn't get 7 MVPs.
who, and Ricky Henderson did.
No, he didn't. I know he didn't. That's why I'm upset.
That was awesome. But speaking of baseball, man,
Or,
But I still haven't
your
propped up a
boys.
Thrive.
are
Yeah, we
we
gotta
getting
prop
to
up.
it? Come
Can I
on,
prop
let's
up
get
with-
into it. I
can
want
I
to talk
prop
about the
up?
Dodgers.
Can
I wanna
prop
prop
up?
Prop us up. Prop us up.
I want to prop
us
up.
up, man. I'm trying to thrive. I want to thrive. I want to thrive, man. Do it. Do
I'm
it.
up with Thrive. This week we have 50,000 in prizes with games from NFL and MLB. Now the World Series. Contest starting on Thursday, as always, go through Sunday. For the NFL, including $15,000 NFL Sunday game, and the personal favorite that we always recommend, the all touchdowns, trying to see who gets in the end zone. Enter our code, one word, the other team, and get up to $50 on top of your deposit, minimum $20 deposit. I have propped up. Thank you for that.
Thrive, man. Just thrive.
Ready to thrive.
Fantasy. Hashtag thrive. Hashtag prop. Hashtag get some money. Hashtag other team. All that.
Speaking of thrive, Dodger Nation is thriving after the 3-1 comeback. God, this
What a-
podcast
what a
is
comeback.
much funner when you're on this side of the 3-1 comeback, ain't it? My
It's crazy
God.
how excited I am
Isn't
to
it-
come to the podcast when I'm on this side of the 3-1. This
Yeah,
is crazy.
It's
I
pretty
couldn't wait to
crazy
get
that
in here today.
first time since '88 that we could be having the Dodgers and Lakers win a World Series and a championship in the same year.
That was the
Look at
last
y'all.
time the
You're like,
Dodgers did it. I don't
"Ugh."
even want to
about-
say
I
it.
don't care
I'm
about
so
that first
used to-
part,
I'm just
but-
so
Yeah.
acclimated of just being hurt. I don't even want to.
I think it's kind of. I honestly find it hilarious. I was thinking about this the other day for you too. I found that hilarious when I realized that was the case, because it was like the Dodgers are gonna win a World Series and they're gonna have to celebrate it with Laker fans, and that's hilarious. They're
Yeah.
gonna be dancing to all Laker fans who are juiced that their team just won, and you're like, "Hey, what team do you like?" Clippers.
I don't really watch
Lakers
hoops.
too, right? Like,
Oh, what? I don't even like basketball, dude. I love
Yeah.
baseball. What?
I'm a baseball guy.
There was a traumatic experience that actually made me hate basketball this year. I don't want to get into it, bro, but just know I hate basketball.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
But yes, the Dodgers do the unthinkable. Bring that shit back from the 3-1 deficit. Down 2-0, down 3-1, backs against the wall.
Man,
Cody Bellinger, big time home run. Will Smith gets it started. Kike Hernandez has a big Game 7 home run. I mean,
I think it really came down to Dave was coaching for his job and he finally did what he wanted to do.
it's crazy.
It was like, hey, bro, if I'm going to get fired, I'm going to get fired the way I want to get fired. And that's the way to do it, Dave. Damn it. You got your team there. I think
basically,
Dave
when
coached his
literally
ass
your
off
back's
last
against
season.
the wall, you actually end up making like
The right calls.
logical decisions. Like, when you're not worried about your job, you're willing to go along with the ride and do the game
Mhm.
plan. But
Hey,
when
he
you
had to-
legitimately, you legitimately have the fire on your ass and you could get fired, you're gonna, like Terrence said, you're gonna go out the way. You're gonna
I don't
go
think
out
people
on
thought
your
about
own-
it
on your
enough,
own
like-
guns.
I really felt if they did not win a World Series, this kind of still stands. But I feel like after what he did that series, they probably get
Saved
another year
it.
now.
Yeah, he
But-
saved it.
Let's say they won that series easy and they lose in the World Series, Dave was probably going to get canned. But
I don't know if
his,
he
his
would
seat was a
have.
little hot. Let's just
It was-
let's just
it
say
was
it like
warming.
that. His
It
seat
was
was hotter
warming.
than we was thinking. It was getting hot, and I could see them getting fired. But
I will
he
say
coached his ass off that series.
we was always upset that like Dave never showed balls. You know what I mean? He never had that like big fucking gut moment. And sending Julio Urias out there for that 9th inning to grab 3 innings of work like that with Kenley Jansen waiting in the bullpen staring you down out there, that was that big gut moment that we finally been waiting for. Like he looked off Kershaw for 2 days in a row and was like, "I love you,
Bro, we know what
I
you're
know,
about. We can't
but we
remember with you,
can't."
Kirsch.
Right, and we
And that's
love
the
you.
right choice.
And you had, and then Kenley has also been dicey those last couple of years, to say the least. And he looked off both of them in Game 7 and was like, "Nobody's touching this kid." It wasn't lefty matchup. He went and set Julio out there.
They
and Julio
trusted
got
the
right-handed
kids for the
batters
most
out.
part in this series. The kids was balling. Gonsolin really pitched well.
I can't believe
Love it.
that it took Dave looking off Kirsch and Kenley, and I was like, I've never respected him more as the manager of the Dodgers than when he looked
You
off
had
his
to,
bets
though.
like that.
He had to. Like it was such a great choice.
Man,
I'm
we've
proud
been
of
saying
you.
he
I'm proud of
he
you,
doesn't
man.
know he's doing it. I was stoked.
I
And I
would
feel
say-
bad for Kirsch and Kenley, but it's like, because I know they're sitting there like, damn, I want the ball, but it's like you.
And
have
Kenley
to-
was great though. Kenley was great in games 5 and 6 to close those doors. He was great, and it was just like, nah, we don't need you tonight. We don't need it.
There's so
And just
many.
imagine he comes in and gives it up. Oh Jesus!
There's so many things I look at with Doc and how good he managed this series. I think if you just look at the lineup games 1-7, like that shows you right there he was different this year. Like
Every
he was
time you
playing-
say dog, bro, that confuses me. I'm like,
It got me for a
Rivers?
second.
sorry,
there.
Dave Roberts. Like the whole series, he essentially ran almost the exact same lineup games 1-7. Really trusted his lineup. He wasn't playing lefty righty with Pollock anymore. He was starting Pollock and basically letting him play through. He started Jock against Minter so that way he could get Jock against a righty later in the game and let Jock have an early at bat against a lefty. Like stuff like that. Played Taylor through all his woes, played on the whole series, and then pulls the great wild card, which we always know, Kike Game 7. Before yesterday, I thought, or 2 days ago, I thought Game 7.
Pinch hit
I thought
Kike.
Kike World Series, or I'm sorry, NLCS Game 7 Grand Slam against the Cubs. Now I think of the next Game 7, I think of Kike with another big home run. Like the way just Doc utilized the lineup, the way he utilized the bullpen in those last 2 games. I mean, absolutely.
he actually trusted the hot hands, which was
Right.
smart. In a way, he didn't because he still played Taylor, but he definitely played.
But
it to his
Taylor
hotter
turned it
hands.
around. What was crazy was the later the series got, the better Taylor got, that's knowing your guys too.
Right, and that's what I like. In years past, Jock was never starting against Minter, which in that game, if I'm not mistaken, he has like a 2 RBI single early, or an RBI single once Minter finally gets out of the game and he gets on the righty. Just
I
stuff
will
like
say-
that. Like I love that. Like in years past, the lineup was different every game 1 through 7, and I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that you have that Mookie, Belly, Seager, Turner. Like you have that core of guys in your lineups where you could really just anchor a lineup, put those guys out there and win or lose with those guys, and just manage the pitching at that point. You know, you're more managing the bullpen and what arms you're giving to the other guys, whereas you don't have to worry about your lineup as much. You know, you pull the Kike card when it was necessary and he goes dinger, but other than that, you really have like a solidified anchor and lineup. And I think Mookie's so important to that, as well as all
Mookie
those
is
other guys.
so important. Oh my god, I couldn't wait to speak
He
about this.
really
guy.
pulls
He's
everything
so
together.
important. Like the hell with all that. Like this dude saved home runs in the Padres series. He's saving runs in this series. This dude is
He set the whole tone in Game 3. You're back against the wall. Must win. That's the game where they score 11 in the first inning, and it starts with Kike or
Is that
sorry
bad?
Mookie. First pitch of the game, infield single, guts it out. Went to replay. Just a hard get. Hey, we're fucking here. We're trying hard today. And then obviously it snowballs and snowballs into an 11-run monster inning, Max Muncy grand slam, and the rest yada yada.
Oh, that's cool. The dude in the outfield is
He
insane.
started it. And then, 3 games in a row, I'm running. I still don't know how he got. I feel like maybe I'm crazy. I almost feel like the shoestring catch is more impressive than the 2 robbing of the
I
home
don't
runs
know.
because
I don't even know. They're all so crazy.
it was
the
like I don't
second
even know
Rob's
how
home
you
run,
got
he didn't
to
even
it.
see it until the ball was on him. That's the crazy.
Yeah.
thing.
Right, yeah.
He picked
Like
it up
that ball
late.
was lost, and it's like, oh shit, it's here now, and I'm over
And
the
then-
fence. Like this guy's crazy.
Nothing.
And the moment, bro, if that ball leaves, y'all I'm probably leaning y'all don't win that game. Like, and this guy's psycho
Those are
to bring
gut
that back.
punches, and they
Like-
and they swing back the other way for a gut
Was
punch
it was
the other way
3-2
when you
at that
make the
moment,
play.
right? It was 3-2. That leads, it goes 4-2.
I think there was
Yeah,
a guy.
I
It
just-
might have been a 2-runner.
No, I don't think. No, it was a
was
solo.
solo.
I think. I'm pretty sure that was solo.
Nothing like
Crazy.
you can't watch Mookie high step after robbing the first one and literally not get goosebumps. Like the emotion and the high step and the reaction of him catching that first one when he robs the first one the night before
Yeah,
is like,
because the moment was huge too.
oh my god, just like the passion, like he loves. So cliche, but like you can tell, like he likes this group. He loves being a Dodger. He loves like this first year at these guys, and to like perform that moment, save this team. You got the contract. You're the face. All these other guys sure have been the face of the Dodgers, but like you're the face of the Dodgers for the next decade. There's not going to be another guy that puts on this uniform that's the face other than Mookie Betts. He's more the face than Seager, Belly, all those guys
For
now.
sure.
And
But
for
Cody
him
hit
to
that
carry-
walk up, stared into the bullpen, and was like, I'm still the guy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm pretty sure he was doing the AD. I think he looked at the dugout and said, I'm that man. And I'm like, I need that. I hope you believe you're that man. I need
think,
3 of those.
like,
I love that.
Yeah, like it's no.
But in reality, we
baseball,
know
it is really
Mookie
that guy
is
way.
that guy.
I don't know.
You-
I feel
you
like
know
in
what I
baseball, it
hate?
truly is a team sport.
You know what
It's
I
like,
hate?
Mike
Absolutely.
Trout is that guy, and it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I hated? Dave Roberts screaming into the microphone, "This is our year!" And then Justin Turner, "We're bringing it back." I hate when you say it. I hate when you say it. Just
Yeah.
go
Thank you. I said that, and I got.
No,
Chill
that's
for
not
that.
what
No,
Terrence
that's
said.
not what
That's
he
not
said.
what Terrence said.
I'm
That's
okay
not
with
what
the guy
Terrence
being
said.
like-
That's what I'm insinuating. Zach, that's what I was insinuating. Like, just
Yeah, but-
you don't need to say that stuff. Just go play. Like, you don't need to say
Right.
all this stuff. You guys
okay
have
with
already won
Kike
NLCSs. Like,
Right.
look, I understand. Celebrate NLCS. It's hard to win an NLCS. It's an accomplishment. But you guys, a few of you guys, majority of you guys already have celebrated this. So the job's not done yet. Like LeBron. LeBron wins the Western Conference Finals. He's like, yeah, let's pop a couple of bottles, but the job's not done yet. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Right.
don't get out there
I
overly
was-
wild about
Well,
it.
I'm okay with Kike pregame was what we had the discussion about with him saying the
No,
energy's high.
you wasn't there with me and Zach. Was
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Terrence
When
came
we
over
was
for the
watching
game
it.
the other night.
I thought you were talking about the other thing.
Nah. Nah,
Terrence
that
didn't
Kike
want
shit
these
was
fools to
apparently was right.
celebrate.
Kike, oh my Jesus, Kike was right. But
Terrence
Yeah,
didn't
that's
want
all
these
I
fools
really-
celebrating the NLCS trophy, bro. I was like, there's guys on this team that may never make it this far.
all I
again.
was saying is like,
Oh
I remember.
yeah, no, you got to celebrate that.
All I'm
They
saying is
always
like, I
do.
remember. Let me just justify what I wouldn't even justify my stance. Is like, I remember. Well, I don't remember. I just remember watching old school hardwood classic games. Magic Johnson hits a hook shot like game 3 of the regular season. Kareem hits a hook shot. Game 3 of the regular season, and Magic goes crazy. It's like Magic's rookie year. He's going crazy, jumping on Kareem, and Kareem's like, "Chill, kid. Like, it's just a game. Like, we're here to win championships." I understand, like, that's a regular season game, but the mentality is just like, until the job's done, kid, stop celebrating. Like, celebrate, yeah, it's cool we had this moment, but until the job is done, let's just be cool.
I just
Be
I don't
cool,
like
fool.
what
I
Doc,
like-
but
I
that's
don't
just
like
my
what Doc
stance.
and JT said. I don't like
Right.
that at all. But
That's
I'm
really what I
all
said.
for like really being it, like You should
can
celebrate it
that.
fully that
You
night.
made
You
it
Because like we
fully
saw,
special
celebrate.
at the
Zach,
won a
we
comeback.
watched
pennant.
the celebration. We watched the celebration. I was like, these guys aren't overly celebrating. Like, it wasn't like these guys was going bonkers. I told you when we watched it, it was like, this is fine. But I really said
Nah,
it before they celebrated.
When they
But-
started celebrating, I feel like your exact words are like, "What are these fools celebrating like that for?" And me and Kyle were
I
like,
still- yeah,
because
well,
we won
I
the
still
pennant.
feel that way.
Like-
No matter what, to me, like if you was to ask LeBron James after the Western Conference Finals, is this something really to celebrate? He'll be like, yes, but the job's not done. That's really all
Yeah.
my stance.
I don't think anyone on the Dodgers proved anything other than that night.
I really
it's a
feel that for the
pennant.
Dodgers, though, for a team that has been to the NLCS several times, been to that mountaintop and has failed, it's like it to me it was like the Gaethje shit in a sense. Like, yeah, I'm the champ now, but throw this off until I really am the champ. Like that's just how I look at it. But
Yeah, that was gangster and Gaethje did that sidebar. That was.
But that's just me. Like I understand, like it is super hard to win an NLCS. Like that's an amazing.
yeah, a
accomplishment.
pennant to win a pennant is nuts.
I'm sure.
But
we're
the
gonna
Braves
talk
also got a lot of those too. And
I-
it was like, okay.
all through the 90s.
And I'm pretty
Um,
sure those guys at one point was like, what are we celebrating? We got to win a World Series.
I'm sure we're gonna talk a ton on the Dodgers here today and coming up, but
I do want to talk about the Braves though.
Oh, yeah,
just-
like,
that's
let's
what I
play
was
the
gonna
flip
say.
side of it.
What do you see? Like, what's next for the Braves? Because I think they got a great young core.
Helps.
And I think Azuna's great. I think obviously Freeman is MVP caliber. I think Acuna is going to be just fine. Albies, they're young guys that they really like. You're great there. Your lineup is as good to hang.
They just got a couple
with
of holes.
anybody. I think their starting pitching is going to be incredibly good next year because you're going to get Soroka back. Ian Anderson seems more than capable to pitch in this league at a very high level. And obviously Max Fried is absolutely top-notch pitcher level. He's an ace. In any staff you put him in, Max Fried has ace stuff and it plays. I mean, I think next year going in, you never know what happens with winter meetings, but your three best teams are Dodgers, Braves, Padres, right? Like those are your three best teams in the National League going.
I would say those are definitely three brightest teams, like the most who's going to compete for a long time.
You never
Yeah.
know what happens with winter meetings and who goes where, but I'm thinking those three teams are looking
I
good.
love their futures, like their
Yeah.
cores that all those teams have. I love what they're doing
I don't even know how I would like what I'm.
because I still like Chicago in a way. As well,
I don't know.
because-
Yeah, Chicago's going to be fine too. Chicago's still fairly young and good. Cardinals are still going to be competitive. The National League's fairly.
Actually,
deep
Cardinals are
moving
old,
forward.
but they'll always be good.
They still have
Cardinals.
some young some young talent coming up right
They're
now.
the Spurs, dude. No matter what, they'll still always be
And the
there.
Brewers still have some talent over there. Like the National League's fairly deep, but I agree. I think the Braves have some of the most promise. I don't even know if I would say they lost. I mean, yes, they lost it, right? Guys like Acuna have to play so much better. And when he was on base, he was an issue. He was stealing bases and he was scoring runs.
Oh my
um,
God, Austin Riley. Oh,
but I
what a
think-
face. Oh my God.
Yeah, terrible. But I think just health. I think kind of like pitching health is what stopped them from winning this series. And I think when you have 7 games in 7 days, I said it from jump.
They got tired.
I've always said the Dodgers of all teams, and now honestly, the two teams that are built for 7 games in 7 days are facing each other. These are the 2
Mhm.
best teams built for this.
Facts.
I don't think anyone's even coming out and saying like Brian Snitker did this wrong or that wrong because he had one of his best arms on the mound against Cody Bellinger right there in that game 7. Martin is a nasty 6'8" heavy sink ball guy. That's the type of guy you want in that kind of game so that we can get something on the ground and keep it close. I just think health, if you have your main guys, Soroka in there, maybe Ian Anderson isn't pitching in such stress games, even though he pitched so well.
I think obviously Soroka, like he's an ace. He's just as
Fried-
good as Fried.
And
so,
if you
like,
had, I think even Hamels, like one veteran to kind of bolster that as well. Like if you just had Fried, Soroka,
have their
Hamels,
Kershaw.
Anderson, those 4,
Mhm.
instead of having to go to like Kyle Wright, and then you had to do like the Minter game, which again, it worked. Minter was
Minter was
great.
balling.
He balled, but it still put so much
Not
stress on your
ideal.
bullpen.
Mhm.
Whereas if you had someone like a Cole Hamels, he could probably eat up 4 or 5 innings for you if
Exactly.
he's on, and he's so pedigreed. I kind of think that, like, I like the Braves a lot. I think the Dodgers got a little lucky in that aspect that they weren't completely healthy, and we had this 7 games in 7
If
scenario.
you are
and it
on the
worked.
Braves, how are you like? Because I asked Zach this question when we watched the game. Like you're sitting in the locker room, literally right after the game. You guys just pissed away a 3-1 lead, or you can't even say it that way. You just lost 3-1.
Yeah. Well, you feel like you
Now
pissed away,
eliminate.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, whatever. This is what I'm asking you guys. You're sitting in the locker room right now. What are your thoughts if you're on the Braves right now?
I'm pissed
Like,
and I can't wait
looking
to get
forward.
out there next year. Like to me, if I lose a 3-1 lead like that, like you feel like if I'm on the winning
You feel like the
side-
better team.
Yeah, you
I feel like you have to feel like you're the
I
better
feel like
team.
I'm as
you
good.
feel like
maybe,
you blew it. Because if
Yeah.
you're the Dodgers, you feel like,
Whew, like
this is
that,
who
like,
I am, and we almost fucked up and let it get away, but we showed why we are us. If you're the Dodgers,
Exactly.
but if you're the Braves, to me,
You're
I'm
Denny
thinking,
Green.
I'm just thinking like I had you right where I
We
wanted.
let him
you.
off the hook.
Right, and I
You
fucking
want to crown
let
their
it-
ass, then crown their ass. Like that's
and
how
I
I would
fucking
see
blew
it.
it. Like to me, it's like I have to come back better next year, and I can't wait to see you in the same game next year. Like is how I would be
Right.
thinking. Like
I think realistically,
wait.
if I'm the Braves and I'm a superstar, I'm thinking this team needs to make sure it's built to beat that team because that's definitely the team to beat in this league. Like that's how I think about the Braves. Obviously, I feel like I'm as good or better. I feel like I had them right there. But if I'm a superstar, I know I'm gonna be on this team. I know I'm gonna be part of like what's going forward to win here. I'm thinking the guys making decisions to better my roster need to make sure it's the roster that matches up to beat
Man,
those guys.
I'm
because
thinking
those
that
are the
I
guys
feel
that
like
beat
the
the
Braves in a
I
lot
This
feel
is
of
their
like
ways.
our
third-
roster is good enough, and it's just like we.
No,
I
you're
can't. I
clearly
hope-
missing
Braves-
something. You fell
I'm-
short. You ran out
I'm
of gas.
thinking
Like,
I
you're
To
hope
me,
clearly
like a
missing
lot of
something.
that, like to me, the Braves have to look at it like, yes, the Dodgers clearly came back and beat us, and they showed that they have that experience to not get nervous. I really think if I'm a Braves player, that's what it's about. Like that Austin Riley mishap in Game 7 cannot fucking happen. Like
and that's like Little League 101.
they had
baseball.
second and third with no outs. That's insane.
And you
For
get a
that
double
to
play
happen,
and you
dude,
get out of it.
that's
And just like in the first inning,
You
they had
double
bases
play,
loaded.
get out of it. Come on.
You had bases loaded, no outs, I believe, in the first inning with May, and you get a double play and you give
Gave
up
up
one.
one.
And then you
Gave
get
up
another
one.
double play later in a guaranteed run producing situation in the major leagues. Like second and third
That's
no
what I'm
outs
saying.
is
Like
like
if
a
I'm in the Braves,
90% shit that you're going to score one more run. That inning.
exactly.
And you
Like,
get
if
out of
I'm
it
in
and
the
you
Braves
one, like that's
organization,
momentum.
Exactly. If I'm in a Braves organization, I'm like, man, kudos, get the Dodgers their flowers. They came back and beat us, but fam, let's look at the tape, man. We had them. Like
we had them right
we
where
had
we
'em.
wanted you.
We had
And
them. We
not
had
even-
them several games.
and not
Now,
even
except
like
for the game they got smacked in, but they had them in
Right.
several games.
But not even like we edged, like we had you 3-1. We had you. Like it wasn't
They had
like
you down multiple
1-0, 1-1, 2-1. It wasn't like you had to. We had
2-0.
you had
It went from
And three-
2-0.
3-1.
Yep.
Right.
2-0,
So it's like
3-1.
2-0,
Mhm.
and then we won one, and then they won. So it was 3-1. You had to win 3 in a row.
Mhm.
And it's just like, if I'm the Braves, I'm thinking like you had to claw your way to get this. Like I fucking had you.
Yeah,
Like
I
and here's
seen
another
the
thing that's
finish line
crazy,
and I
too. It's
tripped.
not like
Fuck, yeah.
when we gave when the Dodgers came out in Game 3 and had the crazy inning, 11-run inning, and punched them in the face. Everyone on the planet, especially if you're Dodger biased, as definitely Jacob and I are, thought, damn, this team could rattle off 4 in a row. They just socked them with a nasty haymaker. Like
it'll
how
be
do
done
the-
in 6.
How do the Braves bounce back from this? And then the next game, the Braves punched us back just as hard for the 3-1 lead. They scored 9 runs, completely lit us up. That's the Kershaw game. Like it goes so bad. And then so you're really thinking like you couldn't have been feeling better than after that game 4. I think the Braves know they're on the cusp and they should feel like
I honestly
there's just
think
a
you might
few
have hit
things
it on
they
the
need to
head.
improve.
By saying Nicole Hamill shit, like they were definitely like that because it leads to like that mishaps on base. Like they need a vet on their staff, which
Mhm.
Cole Hamill's a being. They also need a veteran in their lineup. Because Markakis isn't it, but they need
Like
a
he's a
veteran.
great hitter, but you're right. It's he's not it.
It probably needs to be an infielder. I don't know why I feel like infielders are just like baby coaches as well. Like give me an old shortstop or like an old
I
second
think it's
baseman.
good for both. Yeah, give me a veteran guy in the field like that Chase Utley role that the Dodgers had playing for those big years, and he was really big for us.
Universal DH is probably going to hang around. He doesn't even have to play the field to keep it a full
Right,
buck.
really.
He can- I
And I
I'll
agree.
give you
agree.
that. I might
I didn't
try
like
him
it
hard.
either, but I think both. I think you also need that Cole Hamels for your pitching staff too to settle guys down. Like when Wright wasn't prepared at all, and just to have a guy in the clubhouse that could kind of talk to him after a start,
Right
like
was
that,
like
or like just prepare with him. Oh, bro, like he was shook. He's like, holy hell, this is like.
if you could have held that
This is
dude's
a
head,
video
dude, he
game.
was like this, dude. He was so shaky.
Doing okay, son? He grabbed coach's hand. He was like,
He's like, oh yeah, I guess you're not, son. Okay, go sit down.
would you guys have done anything different than Snitker did? Would you have, I think he
Well,
did.
I
I think he
would
left
say-
Martin out there too long with
I
Belly.
did hear, exactly. I did hear
'Cause
Andre
he had pitched
Ethier
him-
speak about that.
He pitched Martin the night before, like 30 pitches.
Well, they said. Well, Andre Ethier said that when he saw Cody, when they left Martin out there with Cody, he was like, he thought the game was over right then and there. He was like, the times Cody had faced Martin, he was hitting. Martin kept throwing in Cody's swing path, and
Right.
that Cody was just fouling pitches off, and that if Cody found one of those pitches, he was going to hit it out the park. And if you see that at bat, Cody
Ooh.
fouled off 2 pitches.
Oh, he was on
and
it.
one more, game.
Eighth
So-
pitch was the lucky pitch that night. Kike's home run was eighth pitch, and I believe JT worked an 8-pitch walk that started the Will Smith rally. Is what Joe Davis was saying.
But
on
it's
the
tough to
broadcast.
say if that was the wrong choice.
Yeah.
We always say it in baseball. Hindsight's always 20/20 with
Because what
pitchers
inning
and
was
shit.
that?
The
Seventh.
Martin home run was
Seventh
or the
inning.
Bodie home run. Yeah, bottom 7, I believe.
Yeah. So you can't bring Melanson in that sense. So
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
those-
no, you can't. You're going for 7 outs
You,
at
you
that
have,
point.
especially with the way I don't even know if I blame him for rolling Martin a little longer, even though he pitched 9-4, because like with the way this setup is, like 7 games in 7 days, like bullpen, and especially the way that series played out with some of the runs being scored in some of those games, like bullpens were taxed. Like you knew you were gonna have to stretch guys. Martin knew he was gonna get stretched going into the end of that
Mhm.
series. Probably knew going into the day he was getting stretched when he came
and that's
in.
why the Dodgers won.
That's part of it. Yeah, absolutely.
No holes in that lineup.
Right. A 100%. That nails it right on the head. Like when you have two teams that are essentially have a similar game plan and both teams are getting stretched out as this series goes on, like who has more high leverage situations? Like Braves pitching staff had much more high leverage at bats against high leverage batters than it was the other way for us. Like we got
Every
lucky.
pitch was 7.
We had
Eight
big
pitches.
at bats where we got to have Pache up there. And yes, he had big RBI singles and he had a great series. He kind of
Kid
had a
ain't
comeback
ready.
party. But he's not, I preach this to Terrence every time. I hate rookie. I would much rather have a rookie pitcher than a rookie hitter in the playoffs.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 times.
Every time.
I can agree with that.
Some of the
Until
best
Wander
Dodger,
Franco
all
balls
of
the
our
fuck out.
no, I believe it when I see it. The best rookie, all of our rookie of the years, their rookie postseasons were terrible. Seager's rookie postseason was terrible. Belly's rookie postseason was
Hey,
terrible.
look at
Like,
Acuna's
Jock's
first time. He did not
postseason-
play well.
Jock's rookie postseason terrible. Like it's not Acuna rookie postseason. Well,
With
it's
the
the second
Braves,
one, but
with
still,
the
like,
Braves in the postseason last year.
yeah, Acuna was in the, but Acuna's
Oh,
rookie
did they?
postseason, like it's
Were they
typically
in there last
tough
year?
on
I'm
hitters.
tripping
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
Was it wild card or was it just a wild card?
No, they were first round. I believe the Dodgers took it, or no, we lost to the Nats. They ended up losing to the Nats, if I'm not mistaken, last year after beating the Cubs.
Well, Tatis
Or the
played well in his
Cardinals,
rookie
maybe?
postseason, though.
Anyways,
but I get your point is still proven.
So yeah, like I just don't. We got breaks with that with Pache or maybe with Austin Riley who batted $1 something again, and Austin Riley had some big hits, but you still get breaks. Whereas like you're facing AJ Pollock out the 7 hole in the Dodger lineup. Good fucking luck.
Everybody's taking 9-8 pitches, dude. Like you said, every at bat is a high leverage, high stressful at bat, and just the Braves weren't
And
presenting that
The
same
approach
stress.
is so good. Like Jock's willing to hit 215 in the regular season to play the numbers in launch angle. But if you look at him in the postseason, like he goes opposite field gap for a big hit late in this series.
Will Smith early
Smith.
in the game just sacrifices his. It was like, watch me just smack this right through the right side.
Right-
You could
right
tell,
through-
like
right
it
through the
was
shift.
textbook.
Just shorten up. Like I need to get this ball on the ground. I need to get these 2 runs in. I need to tie the game. There's 2 outs. Situational hitting, like that type of shit is massively
Which I
important. And when
remember
you have
we
a
were
lineup this
mad.
deep with that approach, that's fantastic. Like, it's hard
2000.
to
I think
beat.
it was the 2018 team that got 5 games by the Red Sox. That team had no situational hitting, and that's what we
No.
hated about that team.
Fantastic.
It was.
Quickly on the race, though.
Yeah,
I think it's a much tougher matchup than Vegas has it with the Dodgers as like overwhelming title odds favorites. Like obviously I like the Dodgers in the series, but I've been preaching it to both of you guys in text messages. Elite relief pitching is hard to beat in the playoffs, and the Rays have it. When you can shorten games on those nights, the Rays have that, and that's why I think they'll find a way to win 2 games in the series.
I
Can't
I
tell you
think
which two?
Dodgers in 5 or 6.
I said I was going to say 5 if we're getting the predictions right now, but I think the Dodgers can navigate around that lineup. Like obviously Randy's the big stick, and you got to watch out for Randy. Randy will hurt you for sure. Lowe's good, but it's like you can narrow it down to a couple at bats.
They have holes in that lineup.
Right, where Zach just said, okay, after you just blitzed through and you finally got through Seager and Belly and these other guys. Oh, by the way, I have fucking AJ Pollock waiting for you in the 7 hole. Like it's tough. It's tough to
Chris
pitch around.
Taylor,
If you go
got
6
guys
for
back there.
right, if you go 6 for 6 to
high
start the
leverage
game,
outs.
your 3rd inning starts off with Pollock, Will Smith, and going to be Kike or Chris Taylor. Like that's not easy. Like, it's
Only
really
way
never
I
easy.
see this
One guy gets a
happening-
hit, you turn it over to Mook. Like
To me, like I said, I think 5 or 6 for the Dodgers is because I think game 1 or 2, they're going to jump on the bullpen early and it'll probably just take the whole mystique out of like, yeah, our bats are big, dude. It doesn't really matter how dominant your bullpen is. That can mess them up. But on the flip side, I also think if the Rays come out and shove like get up 2-0 and those bullpens and starting pitching dominates to where those bats are silent, it could get weird then.
Yeah,
but I don't see that happening.
If you allow the Rays to like
pitching to enforce,
right, and like to rest that, if you allow them to rest that bullpen and not overwork it, you really run into trouble 100%.
Because who's starting game one for the
Glass now?
So let's say Glass now goes 5 and shoves 5 scoreless because they're not gonna let him pitch a lot. He shoved 5 scoreless, but it's like
he doesn't throw enough strikes.
I know.
Yeah, to let him pitch enough. But if he does, you really,
even if he goes, let's say he goes 4 or 5 innings, he goes a nasty 4 or 5 innings, has like 9 Ks, and then they bring the bullpen in, and dominant bullpen out.
He gets through the lineup unscathed twice in 5 innings. You really set yourself up.
I'm just saying, if like the pitching actually, like if they get down 2-0 to the Rays and it was because the Rays pitching was lights out and the Dodgers bats were non-existent, it could get weird then. Because then, especially if they didn't burn their bullpen Dodgers. Like that either.
Isn't that standard? Didn't that feel like standard Dodgers for early in a
series?
Close, terrible bats, not giving your pitching any relief, then back against the wall, shit just starts getting crazy. But like I was telling Jacob today, I don't
know if you can do that with a team like that though.
I 100% agree because if you allow that bullpen to get on a roll and feel good and get rhythm, it's.
And see, I think it's their starting pitching. Like they have really good starting pitching. I could easily see Charlie Morton going out there shoving 7 innings.
He's the only guy that's gonna give depth starting pitching wise, in my opinion, for them. The other guys.
Snell's a Cy Young guy though, dude. Look in the mirror and get it together, Blake. You want a Cy Young?
Looking like a Kirsch, man.
He's got Blake's got Walker Buehler syndrome. Like he just doesn't throw enough strikes in the playoffs, bro. He'll have that stat line: 5 innings, 105 pitches, 7 walks, 7 strikeouts, 2 hits. Like, but you're in and out of trouble, and you somehow give up 2 runs.
I like the Dodgers in 5. I actually like Kershaw tonight for the Dodgers to win because Glasnow's out there and he has proven that it's hard for him to throw strikes right now and he's not getting deep into games. So I think that bodes well for the Dodgers. I think they'll be able to get run support. I mean, knock on wood, it's Clayton Kershaw in the playoffs. When the fuck does he ever get a run to work with before the 7th inning?
Or he just gives up 5.
I mean, well, he'll go 5 innings and really keep you in a nothing ball game, praying for run support. And then the 6th inning starts, he gives up a 2-run home run.
Yep.
Yeah, and he gives up a 2-run home run. And now you're down 2-0, and then the bullpen blows it up, and it ends up 7-2 loss. And you feel like Kershaw.
Really, what happens is standard Kershaw is we get to the 6th, it's tie game. He gives up the 2-run bomb, walk the guy, and base hit. It's 1st and 2nd. Now we're pulling him. Bullpen comes in, 3-run homer, 5-0.
I swear to God, it's so spot on, Terrence. I swear to fucking God. And you're like, fuck, for 5 innings, I really thought he looked great. You know what I mean?
And
you're like,
and that's where Kershaw gets the whiskey bottle. Like, damn, bro, I had it.
Just turns quickly, and you're just sitting there, and you're like, what the fuck happened?
He's the what was it commercial? Ooh, you almost had it. That's Kershaw always in the games. Like,
with the dollar bill on State Farm.
30 playoff starts. He's 11-12. I don't know who the guy. Who was it? I don't know who the quote is from, but it's when people show you who they are. Look, and it's like he's showing us who he is.
He really is,
and we love him. And I really hope. I hope he's able to change his narrative so badly. I want him to change it so fucking badly.
Big moments tonight.
It's so tough for LA fans. I feel like in LA is, obviously Philadelphia is like the worst market for things like this. But LA has like the first time Dwight Howard was a Laker, right? Like he didn't even perform half bad. He got thrown out of town. Like it's a place where you can find bad favor with the fan base. And like I don't think the fan base wants any LA athlete to succeed more than Clayton Kershaw. And it's just
the hood loves him. Everybody loves Kershaw.
And you can't, and he keeps letting you down, and you're just like, fuck it, I gotta ride with you again, dude. And it's so tough.
Bro, you could never see Kershaw in another jersey. It's impossible. He's so tough. And we talked about this before. It was like, man, I don't even know if y'all ever win one with Kershaw, but it's like you can't get rid of him because like you have either he retires and we won one with you, or we never won one, but you stayed here for 20 years. It is what it is.
Before we get off of this, I do just want to say, Corey Mother Bleepin' Seager, boy, oh my God.
Who are you more impressed with, Corey Seager or Julio Urias? Would be my question.
I told Zach, Julio,
no shade. Crazy. And you guys know I owe Julio an apology. And Julio, I'm sorry. I've been saying for a while, I'm over you. You have gained my trust again. Good shit. Big nutsack in the playoffs. I fuck with you. Way more impressed with Corey Seager. Corey
Seager set records, so it's not like a right or wrong answer. I know. Corey Seager, there's not a bigger Corey Seager fan, and he still impresses me every time I watch him. Like lefty, I said lefty, righty, starter, reliever, dome, backyard, wiffle ball on a beach, like upside down from a tree. Like it doesn't matter.
he's going to hit the center of the baseball really hard, no matter what. Like,
Man,
it does not
his
matter.
outs are loud. John Schmaltz says it every time, like that. His outs are fucking crushed, and they were just crushed right at somebody.
When he's locked in, like, it's insane.
It's a big dude.
I think you need to back up the Brinks, and I think you need to make sure you keep them. And I said this exact reason you guys. Mookie and Seager 1-2 for the rest of the decade is history in the making. Like that could literally be the best 1-2 you've seen in a long time. Those guys are just like I always say, pure hitters. Like it doesn't matter the other pitcher, like a lefty, righty, good, bad. I don't care. I want those guys facing them, and I
Also nice to have
confidence.
Belly and Mookie in right and center though. That's
Just
great.
hawking everything down for you,
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing's dropping out there.
bruh.
Just as far as hitting, like Corey
And then you
Seager is
got
just
Chris
as deadly a
Taylor
hitter as
out there in
anybody.
left field half the time, or AJ Pollock. I mean, those are two fucking nice athletes.
Pollock was
bruh.
a center fielder his whole career. So
He
Yeah.
played quarterback at like fucking University of wherever. Like that guy's nice.
did he really?
I feel
Did he
like
really?
he's one. I feel like he's one of those guys that played quarterback in
Looked like it.
college somewhere.
It looked like
Yeah.
Djokovic of Boston College with that haircut.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Julio Urias' career in the postseason is
This is
pretty
good.
damn good. I won't lie. It's 4 years, 8 series, 1 wild card, 3 NLDSs, 3 NLCSs, and a World Series. He's a combined 6-2 with a 2.84 ERA in 16 games. 31 innings pitched in his 16 appearances, 31 2/3. He's only given up 10 earned runs, which I thought was really good. And he's only walked 8.
How many hits he gave up just for the hell of it?
20. So that's pretty
Damn.
good. His
he's
whip
killing.
is that's a whip of 0.88. So
That's really good.
that's really fucking good. And it's just he's kind of had a crazy story so far where prodigy, he's been in the Dodger organization, it feels like, since he was 10 years old. I think he was 16 when they found him in Mexico. Brought him up, and he was supposed to be, the next big time, our next Walker Buehler is kind of who it turned into. But your next big arm who's going to carry the franchise with Kirsch alongside him. And
They wanted him to be like Fernando.
They wanted
Right.
him to be a
not
starter
Fernando.
for a long time.
Valenzuela.
They still
And he-
might.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
Fernando Tatis. I'm like, wrong.
injured here and there and working his way back and making postseason rosters. And God, I just felt like every big moment in this series was surrounded, by Julio Urias being on the mound for it. And he fucking stepped up to it every goddamn time.
I think it's time to talk about how this guy's not in lion gear.
Oh, exposure!
This guy,
exposure
that guy in
alert.
red
That's on the
with-
intern.
with the backwards hat. The guy that roots for a team that can't beat the Detroit Lions. That guy who's tell me Gardner Minshew was gonna dominate. Gardner Minshew, Minshew, Min who? Gardner Min who?
He said,
Exactly.
"Man, who?"
Nah, that's my boy. I like Gardner. Dude got fantastic hair, but he didn't look good. He didn't look good. And James Robinson, I started you on my fantasy team. I was praying. You got in the end zone. Shout out to you. You had a horrible game. But
You're making me look bad. I gotta listen.
my
to
man
this
was
guy.
supposed to be in some lion gear. The Honolulu blue.
Zach's
dripping.
gonna bring it out next time he goes to work. He said that's on
Yeah.
the intern, man. The
I
intern
got work this
made a
weekend.
deal.
I wasn't out there. I'll bring it
Could
out
have
there.
had
But we'll
you
get
playing
Jake
in
on.
our third string running back, man.
Let me see it.
Mr. One Knee.
The
We coulda had
carry
you out
on.
here.
The
Could have had you,
carry
Mr.
on.
One Knee.
Mr. One Knee. Get
All
your roses
right.
though, Terrence.
Sit on your soapbox and talk about how you beat the fucking Jets. Oh no, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that was the Jags. not
I'm
the
over
Jets.
it. I already got my roses.
Yeah,
It doesn't
good
matter.
shit.
We coming for
Good
those
shit, Terrence.
losers right there. No, we coming
No.
for those
Cubs,
losers. I'm sorry,
we
it's
want
a little
you.
Cubs.
We want
Them little
you.
Cubs.
We
Little
want
Cubs.
you.
DeAndre Swift look good. He ain't dropping it again now, homie. He
What
ain't
I-
dropping it
Hey, what's
twice.
funny
What
was
did I
homie don't
say?
even run the ball. He just catches shit.
Hey, no,
What I-
he had a great game running last. He had like 150.
Going
on
into
time.
this game, he had more
Oh, yeah,
receptions
yeah.
and carries.
Well, because we keep running AP, like AP's. In
He
Minnesota.
nice, though.
Like, I don't-
Yeah, he looked good.
Well, I would say this: AP is a Hall of Famer, and he's a running back who always knows, like, "Hey, bro, I'm not losing yards. I'm gonna get 1 or 2 yards because I'm just got amazing vision, and it doesn't matter. I know how to read holes, but that's him." But yeah, that's pretty much it. Your defense is Swiss cheese. Like,
There's
over
no
there.
pass rush, right? There's no
It
pass
is-
rush there.
It was nothing over there. I was like, damn, man, I thought that defense used to be elite. But they showed us graphic from What was it? The 2000, was it 18 when you guys went to the AFC Championship?
17, I think.
17. Oh my God. You guys, you had some fantastic names on that roster, and none of them are there. that whole defense was gone, but they were all ballers. So yeah, that's pretty sad. Did y'all gotta have a lot of picks saved up then if that was the case? Or they all walked as free agents?
Well, we had 2 this.
I know Ramsey.
We had the Rams, and we have another first rounder from the Rams next year. I think next year we have like 5.
And Dockway, what'd you get, a 4th?
Rounds.
What was in Dockway, a 4th?
Third or 4th? It might have been a 4th.
Mm-hmm. Miles Jack's a baller though, but he needs help.
Yeah, the defense is young. There's no pass rush anymore. Josh Allen gets doubled every time. He didn't even play again this week. Chase On was one of those 2 top 10 picks that we used, and he's been okay. But I mean,
what school he go to?
LSU. So it's like you got hope.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
You think he's gonna be okay?
LSU boy, he'll be fine. SEC kid, you'll be fine, boy. It's all right. Just get your feet wet.
I will say,
look at the Cubs, man. I can't wait to play them. When we play those Cubs,
what did I tell?
We
Terrence
suck, but I want to face them.
We
again.
beat y'all to know enough to know you know good, and we're not even tripping on that. I can't wait to face
This
you.
guy,
again,
look at this
too.
guy. Let's get. To
All
that.
you're doing is getting me
This
closer
guy-
to the playoffs when we face
Can
you.
we-
So
I
are
need
you
to
fully
edit
on board
in.
with BDN?
I need to
Zach?
edit that
Of course,
in when
I'm
Zach
5-1.
hated him.
Absolutely, yeah, I did.
I need to edit that
They
in when Zach
still
was
did
like,
Mitch wrong.
they disrespected Mitch.
They
our tight
did.
end.
They did. They disrespected Mitch. We can all agree they did. But winning
No
solves
more
everything.
Wildcat. What do you mean?
I've
dude?
always
You're
said
done with
it.
the Wildcat.
Winning solves everything, and we're winning. I'm 5-1. Let's get it.
NFL
I'm on
offense,
board.
Running Navy football. NFL offense, Navy football. Which one do you want? Like,
They
get
did him
the
dirty.
NFL
We know
offense.
they did Mitch dirty. We all know it. But we're winning games, and Terrence has said this before too. Nick is giving me this leadership ability that Mitch just can't give me. The
I wanna know
post-game
this.
press conference with Nick Foles was so good.
I like
He was
Nick
so
Foles,
hyped.
and it sucks.
Good time to ask this question to Zach, considering the Packers just got thrashed. How do you think that you guys are going to match up against the Packers? Because they are obviously the team to beat in the division with you. You guys are the 2 teams.
They got chemistry issues over there.
I was just telling this to some friends over the weekend. Like, I still don't know about the Bears, by the way. Like, we could be the 3rd best team in the NFC. We could be the 4th, 5th best team in the league. Or we could be
feel
like,
that way with the Packers.
or we could be like 10th or
They look
12th.
sus.
We
I
might
agree,
be like
Terrence.
10th or 12th best in the league. Like, I don't know. We're somehow we're somewhere in between 3rd and 12th in the league, and I just don't know about this team yet. But the more I watch, the more I believe, man. Good defense really makes you believe. If you're in ball games and you just need and all you need to
If
do
you
is
have
put
a
together a drive or put
serviceable
together some
quarterback
big plays,
and your
like,
defense puts you in position consistently, you run
it's
into
hard.
shit.
It's hard for
I
me
just
to
wish
think like
y'all
we'll
ran the
lose
ball
any
better.
spread. I feel like we'll
God,
cover
God,
every
they
spread.
can't run. They can't run
Like-
at all.
That's what scares me about your Bears team. Is the
That's why I'm
fact
not
that
gonna
you
get
guys are
led.
built to run the football. Like the way you play the game, your defense is nasty. You just really have a game managing quarterback who can win the game for you, though. He's not.
Yeah,
He's more
a
than
little
game
like
manager.
a little better like arm than what you would think of.
Yeah, he's a little bit more than a game manager, but he really
Is a
y'all
game
really want to
manager.
run the football,
Right.
Like, and y'all don't run.
You
the
don't
football
really
that well.
want
That's
it
what
in his
scares me
hands like
about
that.
that team,
I don't want Nick throwing it 45 times a game at all. Yeah, no.
and that's what scares me
I
about
wanna
y'all,
work
that
off
you
of
don't run
both.
the ball that well. But
I
the
agree.
Packers, I feel the same way.
Why the fuck didn't we go get Lev Bell? Why weren't we one of the 3?
I don't think
How
he
did the
wanted to go there.
Dolphins? How did the Dolphins get more consideration than us? Like, what the
He's
hell?
from there.
I don't
Why
give a
did he go to
shit.
the
They're
Jets?
garbage.
Why did he go to what? The Dolphins? They building over there. They
I know.
building.
But, okay, but is Lev in build mode? No,
I
he's in
don't know
win
why
now,
the-
you know, he's in win
I
now
get you.
mode.
I hear you. Like I hear.
I'm
you,
like,
but
Ryan Pace, did you not pick up the phone or did he just ignore your call?
It
Like,
sounded
what
like
happened?
he didn't want to go there though. He went to the Chiefs, which man, side note for my boy Edward Lear, he definitely ran like, oh, y'all brought him. Bet. Like I'm running
Wasted
hard
money.
today.
He's like
Really?
wasting
Yeah.
money.
This guy, why y'all pay him? He's gonna sit on the sidelines, dude. But Andy Reid said it too. Like Edward Lear is still gonna be the lead back. That Bell's just.
I think
there.
every great team you want to
Needs
have
multiple
two good. Yeah, need two, especially the way the RPO is
Two,
just
three
ingrained
backs.
in the league now and the way offenses are built. I think
and how
it's absolute-
injuries are. Just
Yeah,
one
it's
hit away.
imperative to have like 2 above average backs. That
I was thinking about this. What about Damian Williams? Because like
He's
he
pissed.
won the
He's the one
he
who's
won
pissed.
the Super Bowl MVP. He opted out, which everybody you can't knock him for opting out. But I know he's sitting at home like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Well,
I
he
hope
technically
he's not sitting-
didn't win the MVP, but I agree he was the MVP of that Super Bowl. But
But God, ain't knocking him. Man got
Patrick
the trophy.
Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes,
Well,
they
yeah.
gave the MVP to. But yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I feel
Definitely
you.
Williams was definitely MVP of that. Yeah, he's pissed. He's like, well, I guess I'm playing for the Jets next year or something. Like, it's not gonna cut it.
It just sucks. Like that's just an unfortunate situation for him. But
Super unfortunate.
because I know he was pissed when they drafted Edward Lear, and then they bring in Le'Veon. He's like,
He's like, oh, I'm old news. Like,
oh, So I'm gone.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so I'm gone.
Because I'm pretty sure with Edwards, he was just like, okay, I just got to come compete for my job. Now it's like, oh, I'm gone.
Yeah, he's like, compete for what? Like, I was competing for 7 snaps. Now I'm competing for like a job. 7
Daryl
days a
Williams'
week.
job.
Like, what the fuck?
De'Aaron Thomas's job. Like, what are we doing here?
I think this caught my eye this morning when looking into NFL headlines and stuff. Steelers #1 in Bleacher Report power rankings. I
Juju
obviously
Smith,
think that
where is that man?
I'm pretty sure he's healthy and playing, but Ben likes Claypool. Like, Ben's not
Got
fucking
him,
with
but
him.
dude, Juju's literally getting like 2 passes a game, like not even throwing to him. Dude, was on Madden. Is it the Madden curse? Like, is that shit real?
I don't know. I thought that was interesting. You guys know me. I've said it from jump. The Steelers could win the division. That was one of my hot takes earlier in the season. Oh yeah, Jake Ross. I don't like it either.
Lost his hands, dude.
I always tell Jake I hate that damn poster, man. Because if you look at all these actors right there, dude, like none of them are happy about doing this weird picture with the milkshake. Look at all their faces. They're all pissed.
I'm not even that high on Friends. Like I did watch it, but the more I watch it now, as I got older, I'm like, this is.
Love Friends. Literally watched it last night. It was cracking me up. Oh god.
But I do want to say quickly on the Packers because we did get off them. I don't trust that team either because they have chemistry issues, and the reason why that team is good is we all know why. It's just the greatness of Aaron Rodgers. But
you still think they have? You're still buying into the chemistry thing?
I'm not buying that it's not nothing. I don't know if it's a huge thing, but I don't think those guys are a match made in heaven now. I don't think LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers are suddenly in Cabo. Like,
maybe not. I don't know if it's an issue though. I think
I don't know if it's an issue, but I don't think that team is as good as they are have played so far.
I think that team's really good. Because as long as Aaron Jones is running the ball healthy, it finally gives them that.
As long as Aaron Rodgers is out there, they'll always be a 10-win team. But I don't know because they have Super Bowl aspirations.
Yeah,
I don't think they're a Super Bowl team.
They're the definitive second, even with the loss to TB and Tampa Bay this week, and they got smacked up. I think they're the definitive #2 team in the NFC. Like definitive.
I still like them over Tampa, even though they just got slacked by them. I still like the Packers.
I don't have Tampa Bay that high either.
Yeah, I think they're definitively the second best team.
So who's the best team?
Seahawks. I think Seahawks are the clear best team in the NFC.
Okay, that was
probably Zach. But their defense is still so sketch to me.
Yeah, and I had the Rams up there, but the Rams are like me now. I don't know how good the Rams are now. The Rams could be third best in the NFL.
I don't think the Bears are better than the Packers.
No,
like as crazy as that sounds, I really do. I hate how you guys are 5-1. I think you're the flukiest 5-1 team, but at the same time, I don't think the Packers are that good. It's tough to say because Aaron Rodgers is so good, dude. Like,
I mean, they're playing so well.
It doesn't matter who's out there. He's like, man, I'll throw to you, dude. Can you run a 5-yard out? Just turn
5 yards, turn left. Like he'll hit me. Bet.
Like, so it's tough.
I'll be like, run to that hash and just turn around. The ball be waiting for you. Like it's gonna be.
I would say. Is the best team in the AFC undefeated? Is it the Steelers or Titans, or is it still the Chiefs?
I think it's still the Chiefs. I think the best team is still the Chiefs. If you tell me it's the Steelers or Titans, there's not much I can tell you. I'm going to go with pedigree and belief that Patrick Mahomes is probably the best quarterback in the league still. What worries me about the Chiefs, although their defense played a lot better this week, although it was a very mucky, ugly, misty, rainy, nasty game in Buffalo. I think that had a lot to do with it too. That kind of worries me.
Not a consistent defense.
It's not a consistent defense. That's where my worry lies with the Chiefs. I mean, I don't have to reiterate it. I'm big on the Steelers. You guys know. I think they're going to beat the Titans. I'm leaning Steelers to beat the Titans this week. That's the best game of the week to me this week. Damn, it's going to be a good game. But yeah, I don't.
Would you rather stand in front of Derrick Henry or a full-blown moving freight train?
Probably just the freight train and get it over with. Like,
I'm lighting Derrick Henry up.
Could you imagine? Okay, if I'm like a lineman or a linebacker, fuck it, I'll take my chances. Could you imagine being one of these poor little DBs and being the first guy that got to come into contact with Derrick Henry?
Josh Norman, just get out my way.
Here's cornerback. I'm playing nickel corner, so I'm like the third best cornerback on my team.
Dude, Breland tried and almost died.
And this guy hits the corner untouched, and it's just me and him. Fuck.
Bro, what's bonkers about him is if you see the one that he takes 94 yards to the crib this week,
he's really pulling away from everybody.
I'm saying he's the biggest, most punishing, inducing back in the league, and he pulling away from guys on a 90-yard run. Like, what are you talking about?
That was probably the craziest part. Like, dude, just It's
the second level.
What are we doing here?
hits the second level,
Scary.
gets past the linebackers, and is literally just gone. I'm like,
Bo Jackson in the Tecmo Bowl.
what the hell? Like, you're the biggest
Dude,
back in the
Justin
game.
Reed is one of the better safeties in football, and he was just getting punished trying to tackle him, man.
Our boy
He was
woke
like,
up so
Coach,
sore
man, I don't
yesterday.
want to hit this cat no more, man.
Woke up sore again today from having to do that. Dude, like,
Oh, your
nuts.
shoulders is just gone. You out there looking like a pitcher after the game.
Is there somebody in the AFC not named Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Kansas City that poses a threat to either of those three teams?
Okay, we just gonna forget Baltimore.
So Baltimore, maybe.
Not a threat to me. I'm not sold on Baltimore at all this
A
year.
lot of people aren't
Do
sold.
not
on
agree.
Lamar's
saying
struggling his ass off right now.
his
but-
ass off. So
They should have wiped the floor with Philly. That defense did everything for Baltimore to beat Philly by 40 this week, and somehow Philly almost tied it with like a minute left in the game after
It was a
Carson
f-
Wentz had like
But
20
just like with
yards in
your
the
Bears
first
team,
half.
you play to
Like,
win the game. As
Right.
long as you win in it, it
of course,
don't matter.
absolutely.
But-
You
And when
play
you
to
get
win.
It is alarming.
But I'm
when you
not.
get
It's
up
the same
30
reason why I'm
early,
not. I'm not sold on us. Like I don't know how good they are yet. They haven't shown me really anything.
You know,
My
it's
boy
crazy.
scared me. I've seen some bounce balls that was like, oh God, Lamar, what are we doing here? But
This
I
is-
agree. I'm losing confidence in them, but I'm not gonna lie. I still do like Baltimore a lot. I talk about pedigree. Their coach got a pedigree of winning, and he wins a lot.
watch the deadline. Watch Baltimore around the deadline.
Here's the
Baltimore's
thing
gonna
with-
go
Because
get
they
them
know
a
they
big
need to
target.
make a move. They know
They need a big target.
Mhm.
Here's
I
the
think it's
thing with me
evident that he
about-
needs a big target.
with Baltimore is like with Lamar, like he had the opportunity, as I said, to really destroy and just bury Philly early in the first half. Really
Right.
bury them, and he never put them away. He never took them down the field and just like 2-3 straight scores after all these turnovers and bad possessions from Philly, and really put them away. And he allowed a team with no offensive weapons to linger all day, and then they almost make this comeback. And it's the same thing on the
It's
other side.
troublesome.
They've blown everybody else out though.
When you
Besides
put
that one team.
Lamar down, when Lamar's down big early, he can never come out of that hole either. And that's what worries me. Like you have to have guys that like can put a team away when given the opportunity and step on your neck. And you also have to be able to come back from the dead. And I kind of haven't seen either of those
Well,
things.
he
from
hasn't
Lamar.
shown coming back
And I'm
from
like,
halftime.
like
That's literally
come
a
on.
stat. Like he's 0 for 8 or something like that.
yeah, when he gets
Been
down big
trouble.
early. So I don't know. Like I've always had.
But
a
outside of the
concern.
Chiefs game, they
I'm-
have blown everybody out other than
I
the Eagles
want
game.
I want to see a little-
38-6, 33-16, 34-14, and then that was a loss. 34-14 is what they lost.
I need the
and then
Ravens-
31-17, 27-3 So they've been blowing everybody out.
I want
and
to
then
Ravens
the
see.
30,
Steelers
28.
will be a huge eye test for me.
Absolutely.
A huge eye
Absolutely.
test.
That's
Win
this
or
weekend.
lose. They play Titans this weekend.
I'm looking at the schedule here. Steelers, Raven.
It should be Steelers Titans week 7. They moved it to week 8 because of the COVID shit. Ravens should have
The
a bye.
Titans are scheduled for 11-22.
The Ravens have a bye in week 7. I'm looking at it right this second.
They moved it with the COVID shit.
Well, then
and they-
ESPN's app is super wrong. Then 'cause I'm-
10-25 is Steelers Titans.
Oh, I'm tripping. 10-11 is not this weekend. 11-1 is next weekend. Yeah.
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 So
that's
it's
probably-
Steelers Titans.
Mhm.
I don't know.
No,
I'm not
11-1
sold
is
on
this week. 11-1 is this
No.
weekend.
everybody grow. What?
No, it's not.
It's
it's
the
not.
20th. How many days are in a week, you guys? Everybody grow up right now. What are
Hey,
we doing?
I just said it.
Hey,
Shut
Get a
up.
hold of ourselves.
This is me exiting after that dumbass shit I just said. So
Jacob
I'm-
said 11-1 is this week.
and I looked at my phone and I was like, whoa.
You realize you are not in the goddamn Twilight Zone. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on them. I think there's three
What?
contenders in the AFC. I guess sneaky is if Vegas can pull off a big win against Tampa Bay.
Stop. Don't
Tell me
even
right now.
come at me
Telling
with
you.
Derek Carr as a
I'm
fucking...
telling you.
Zach, we're talking about
I think the
fucking-
Titans
We're
are
talking about
contenders.
the Bills, Chiefs, Titans. Nobody gave me the Bills, and you gave me the fucking
Well, the-
Raiders.
If
The
they beat
problem with
Tampa
the
Bay,
Bills
they'll have
are-
beaten the Chiefs and the Bucks.
The Bills
Thanks.
had a great defense, and it's not great right now. That's the Bills' problem. Like
Yep.
their defense is horrible right now. Cleveland stinks. Tennessee is going to be in every single game. Nobody wants to play Tennessee. I don't care who you
I
are.
They're
agree.
nice. They don't stink because they're really fucking.
Tennessee will
good.
beat the Chiefs. Like in a playoff game, Tennessee could beat the Chiefs because Patrick
Anyway.
Mahomes would never have the ball. Like
That's-
the way they'll
and
play
that's
them
like
is
the
he will not.
recipe.
Exactly. That's why nobody wants to play them. And Tannehill, they showed the numbers from like week 7 or some shit from last year compared to this week now. His numbers are almost identical to Mr. Mahomes. So that man is playing at an
Isn't that
MVP
crazy?
level, and it's wild. And he was the guy that was telling people, enjoy your practice checks, homie. When he was in Miami, getting picked off by the third stringer practice squad guys, and was like, "Oh, you think you cool? Could you pick me off? Enjoy your practice checks." And then I was like,
Bang.
"Nah, that was corny. That's why they got rid of him." But good thing.
I remember that
turned it around.
text from Terrence on Sunday. I think Titans went up 14-0, or they're in the middle of that comeback or something, and Terrence just texts us and goes, "So is Ryan Tannehill elite right now?" Question mark or something like that. And I'm
I
like,
was like, "Oh, I think I said Ryan Tannehill's low key elite." Like,
yeah.
I'm
And
just
we all
watching
were
this guy
like,
throwing
shit, I
dimes.
guess he is. Like, he's playing like it right now. What the hell is going on?
AJ Brown for Corey Davis, and Corey Davis is in
Ugh.
waivers.
Corey Davis literally got COVID 2 days after we completed that trade. It hasn't seen the field since. I lose Eckler, Chubb, Fournette, massive injuries across my board, and now Davis is gone. I'm like, what happened?
Chubb's on this guy's team.
That's cool. You're also in like 9th place.
Tied for the next playoff position. See you there, brother. You don't want to see me, bro. You don't want to see me.
Took an L to the Rook.
Turn the little scrappy song on. You don't want to see me. Mouth full of blood, soul full of hate. Why you gotta have
I said
hard as
9th.
hell
I
when
was
you know
I was doing
damn
him
well-
I was doing him justice. Terrence is in 11th out of 12th, actually, by the way.
I am, but I'm actually tied for 8th place. So
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at the points. You literally have the least amount of points in the league, dude.
That's
no
fine,
one's
but
worried
I'm-
about your team.
You said
But
you
I'm
don't want to
tied for
face
fourth.
us. These ones don't score.
you don't.
You're
This was the
exactly who we
Jets.
wanna
Like, you don't
face.
want to face us? I'm like, what?
Bring it. When I play you. I think I already played you.
Yeah. You beat me,
Where you
actually. You just beat me.
Why you trying to act hard as hell when you know damn turn a little scrappy on for this man. He don't know nothing.
Shit is too funny.
Ah.
I did want to go into this too. This came out this morning while we were kind of doing our meeting and stuff. Cowboys players absolutely dismantled the coaches after the loss to the Cardinals this weekend.
I'm trying to play
Literally,
QB for the Cowboys.
the quotes were,
I'd play anything
"These
you want for the
guys are
Cowboys, right?
so unprepared."
Be the OC, Jake.
Another guy's quote was blatant as hell. "They're just not any good at their jobs." Like, so
I
Jason
don't know why
Garrett,
he kept Kellen Moore. Why?
Jason Garrett got
I mean,
that.
they're top 5 in the league in points. I feel like Kellen kind of draws some shit
No,
up.
why do you have
I
Mike
feel like we
Nolan
could
as
draw
your
something out
defensive
for those
coordinator?
guys.
Right.
That is the question.
Mike
to
Nolan
me.
is the problem, not Kellen.
Jason Garrett got that Bleacher Report, by the way, this morning and almost pissed his pants and fell out of his chair, spit his food, all of it. Like, just died laughing when
Because
he
they
got
wouldn't
that.
be this bad if he was still there.
Yeah, or maybe they would, but he's like, "What's different?" Is all he thought. Is like, "Look at what's different. I got
I
players
don't
who are
think they'll
mouthing
be
off
this
to the
bad.
media, not disciplined. Mike McCarthy's in there running the same bullshit he always ran. They ain't doing nothing good. Like, defense is in shambles. Like,
Jason Garrett was not great, but at least he was like consistent. You knew what you were going to get from him.
competitive.
But like kind of what we said with Kershaw. Like when you look at his record, you know who he is. Like when you look at Jason Garrett's record, you know who he is. He's a 9-7, 8-8, 10-6 type of coach when things go right. He's a 10-6 coach when things go right.
yeah,
But he's
for
usually
sure.
an 8-8, 9-7 guy. He's like our modern Jeff Fisher. I would say he's a little bit better than Jeff Fisher, but he's
Yeah.
essentially in that same tier.
Right.
Now I think he's better than Jeff Fisher, personally.
Probably a
Now
little
that
better.
Jeff
But
Fisher-
Jeff's
Jeff
early
Fisher has
before the
ruined
game
people's
changed.
careers.
The game kind of changed on Jeff, and he just was too stuck in his ways. But like early Jeff Fisher was really good, like really good at his job.
Well, yeah, Steve
But the game
McNair, so
kind of,
rest in
for
peace.
1 or 2.
Craziest stop ever in the Super Bowl, man. That is the wildest shit ever, dude.
Nutty.
To get stopped on the one.
Nutty.
That's like I couldn't live the rest of my life.
Yeah,
Like,
Dyson, dude, and he's fantastic. Like that is crazy. Like
Yeah.
fantastic tackle though. People never talk about the tackle, and they're like, that is an insane tackle to really stop
Yeah.
that guy from getting into the end zone. We always talk about Dyson coming up short. Guys like, it was me. Why? I'm the reason why he didn't get in.
I got him.
Like,
And
Uh,
I don't
like
even
it
know
or
if I
roll.
want to continue talking about the Cowboys every week on this show at this point because it's
Nah.
just like, what's
For what?
new? Like now you're stuck with Red Rifle for the.
What do you think about Zeke though? Zeke was just pressing and just trying to put the team on his back. That's what it looked like to me.
He's gonna
I
be fine.
mean,
Still the
Well,
best
he's
running back in
fantastic.
football.
Yeah, but he's definitely top 3.
Yeah,
Derrick
he's
Henry's
just
insane.
looking
Like,
careless.
like,
It's kind of like
fair enough.
I feel like
That
the
dude's crazy.
type of fumbling Zeke's having. Like I kind of would like I feel like the players like this comes down to not having us prepared. Like
It looked like Zeke was like, bro, I have no offensive line. I have no
People
quarterback
are
out
acting
here. I got to
careless.
make plays. And he was just overthinking it. It looked like he was just pressing to me, but the coaches stink, and that's crazy that the locker room is feeling that way. Like not Garrett.
McCarthy.
McCarthy
That means
said
either the
something, they just
coach has
looking
to
at him like,
go or you rebuild,
Shut
and you get
up.
and you get players out of there because like that's gonna fester into something worse. Like you can't have a locker room like that.
My players
Who
got to
would be the-
respect me.
who would be
Why
the-
are we speaking out like this right now? We're still leading the division technically. Like, what the hell?
Eagles win that division.
Yeah, but you're not happy about the way you're playing.
Of course. But I don't need you speaking out like this.
Who gets fired? If they get fired, who's the head coach? Moore? He's a kid. That would be crazy if Kellen Moore is there. Who's the special teams coach? Be some random linebacker coach?
No, you told me that it's coming from college. I told you.
No, I'm talking about interim. If they
But
fire
they take over
Mark
for the rest of the
McCarthy.
year.
Mike
Yeah, for the
Nolan.
rest of the year.
He used to be a head coach of the Niners and stuff. He's got head coaching experience. So defensive
DC,
coordinator.
right?
Yeah,
God,
the defensive
he's
coordinator.
fucking
Mike-
fired.
Stinks.
He needs to get fired.
Just
Yeah,
saying,
I think
like,
if
who's got the
McCarthy got
experience?
fired, his box is with McCarthy's. I
Oh
think they
my
both get canned.
God.
Like a corner coach is now the DC or something.
NFC least. Who's coming out of that NFC least right now?
Eagles.
Five
Eagles.
wins within the entire division. By the way,
Eagles.
Eagles or Cowboys. I'm not rooting the boys out as
I
bad as
think
they look.
if the Eagles can get like
If the Eagles can make a
literally
trade,
anybody to stay healthy, like literally anybody, if they can just get anybody fucking out there, I think they'll win the division.
I think if the Eagles call Cleveland for OBJ, they'll be fine.
Not happening.
Cleveland's
got a
he
chance
doesn't
to go
want
to
that
playoffs.
dude would not be there. Cleveland's
got a chance to go to the playoffs. They're not giving up on
The
their-
man was in his freaking socks walking on the sideline talking shit after Baker just played like trash. He
Who?
don't want to be there.
Odell?
Odell, you didn't see
Yeah.
him? Odell was walking on the sidelines, shoes off in his socks mid-game. Like, yeah, these guys suck. My quarterbacks stink. I'm wasting my prime. Get me out of here. Save me.
Tough.
They're definitely not trading him in the middle of the season though.
On the flip side of the NFC least, what's the best division in football?
North.
Definitely not.
It's my opinion. I believe it's NFC North. No team in that division is bad, but the West has a good case as well.
It has to be
The
the
West.
West this year.
I think the
it has
West.
to, right?
Top to bottom, I think all those.
Are we
teams
just
are-
basing it off this year? I guess
Right.
we should base it off this year.
right? What was the best division in
Yeah.
football right now?
I was thinking more
probably
of
say
the
the
question, like, what's
West.
the most consistent division and whatnot in football, but that's two
Most
different questions.
consistent has been NFC South, honestly, for a minute before
Or the
Atlanta
North?
fell
I don't
off.
know. Atlanta's been kind
The
of
black
down
and
for a
blue
couple years.
division has been a consistent division forever. But like I said, for this year, I can't really argue it because the Vikings completely shit the bed. So it probably
I still
is the
feel like they're a
NFC
good
West.
team too. That's what's funny.
That's
They're 1
why
and
I
5.
keep saying the
They're 1 and
NFC
5.
North
I
because the
still feel
Vikings are
like-
not a bad team. Just Kirk Cousins is not too good at football, but they might need to start running Wildcat over here. But that's something else for
Captain
different topic.
Captain COVID over there.
Who the hell would do
I
that?
like
Kirk had COVID, remember? And he was like, "If I die, I
Oh
die."
yeah. Right.
He
I
dies,
forgot
he
he had
dies.
COVID.
He dies.
Yeah.
And he didn't give a fuck. He was like, "Whatever, fuck it. If it kills me, it kills me." We were like, "What, dude? Go
It's
fucking."
like, if any of them kill
Go
you,
lay
Kurt
down
should
and
play
rest.
right now. But
I would
he
say
didn't he almost over 400 though? Kurt, you're killing me, man. Throw
yeah,
3
the end
picks
of the
in it.
game, a lot of garbage time. He ended up popping off. I think if Jimmy G is quarterbacking the Niners, and that's not
They
saying
suck.
a lot, but if he is, then it's definitely the NFC West. If he's not, I think even like NFC North with the Steelers and
That's AFC.
AFC North.
or I'm sorry, AFC North with like Steelers and that division, like that's actually a very sneaky, very hard division. Steelers, Browns, Ravens, those three alone. And the Bengals have been in a lot of games. They're up on the Colts 21-0. Rookie quarterback, they blew it. But I think that's a very sneaky good division. But as long as the Niners had Jimmy G, I would have to say NFC West. is
And
the
see,
best.
that's why I give it to the North. Was why I think they're the best division is because you look at each team every week. Every team is in every game.
Good quarterback play throughout that division. And that's kind of what you look
Yeah.
for in this, I think, too. Is
But like
which
the
quarterback
Vikings,
plays
Lions,
throughout the division.
Bears, none of them ever really get blown out any week. Like they're
Yeah.
in every single game. Each of those teams are being competitive. But
And I
speaking
think
the
each of
Vikings
those
just
teams
got
have like a
blown out.
very comparable quarterback right now. Without Mitch at the helm, like you're going to give Nick Foles his respect right now. So you look at the quarterbacks in that division. If you take Jimmy G
Except
out
Kirk.
of the
Kirk
West,
sucks.
like, but in reality, Kirk is
but
a
he's still
very
okay.
comparable
Yeah.
quarterback. He's not.
I do want to ask this because it sounds like we're getting off NFL real quick. I asked Zach this same question when we watched the game. I'm gonna run off the worst teams here. Each team that could potentially get the great Trevor Lawrence, who needs him most. God, my phone is tripping right here. 1 second.
The Jets is the answer.
Yeah, but the Jets may not get him, but I do believe the Jets will be fully taking
The
him.
question was who needs him most.
No, well, I'm saying out of these, well, yeah, I guess if that's your pick. Jets 0-6, Bengals would not be taking him. Your Jags are 1-5. Houston's 1-5. Houston would not be taking him. The Jags could take him. 1-4 Chargers, they will not be taking him. The Giants are 1-5. Washington's 1-5. And Philly's 1-4-1.
Washington for sure is looking at quarterback right now.
Daniel Jones gets the pass. I feel like they wouldn't take it if Daniel Jones was if they had the number 1 pick.
I don't think
I
they're
don't-
going
But Judge
Daniel
wasn't
Jones.
their coach when they drafted Daniel Jones, so that could get weird.
I think I was
mean-
telling this to Terrence. Imagine if the Texans end up with like the top pick, but you know they only win 1 or 2 games.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot you said this.
I said
Yes.
this. I was like, you got a new head coach coming in. Your offensive weapons are terrible. Like, I'm getting rid of Deshaun Watson and starting from scratch. New coach, Trevor Lawrence, the whole 9. And it's not because I think Deshaun Watson isn't good. I think the value's there. You could turn Deshaun Watson into another first-round pick, and now you've just like dominated. You have the potential
get 2
to
for him.
dominate. You have the potential to dominate this draft, next draft, and get the best quarterback out of the next 3 drafts, probably. Like, I don't see how you would not do that. Like, I think Deshaun Watson's too good. They're going to find a way to win too many games. We're not going to be in this scenario. But to play crazy hypothetical, you named off the teams that have the potential to get that pick right now. If I'm the Texans, like, call me crazy, but like, do that.
It's not a bad idea, though, Zach. I
It's
hear
not
you.
ter- I don't
The
think
logic
it's
is
terrible.
It's not, especially if Trevor Lawrence is who we actually think he is. Then that is a fantastic
And
value.
the
move
first
for
thing
them.
you just said about the Giants was, oh, Judge wasn't there and they drafted like
Exactly same thing.
Danny Dimes. Like a lot of coaches, you know, especially when it's like your first year, your first time being a head coach, like you want to go to war with someone that you pick, like you feel comfortable with. You don't want to go to war with somebody else's weapons when you're a first time head coach. So if they bring
We
in
also
someone like that,
have-
we know Romeo's not getting that job. Definitely not after the bullshit he pulled with that 2-point conversion. Like we know
I was
Romeo's
fully
not
down
getting
for that 2-point conversion personally. I thought that was a fantastic idea. Your team sucks. Just win the game right here. You was already up 7 no matter what. Just win the game.
They
right
have
here.
to
I
go
get you
get-
end up losing, but
Yeah,
I know
but, like,
to
you
get a
have to
2-point
go
conversion is
get it.
hard.
Yeah.
I know, but I loved it. Because to
I
me,
like-
like that
I
wins
like
the
what-
locker room over if they pick it up. Like, everybody,
Right.
hell yeah, Romeo, you believe in us. Like, but I shouldn't believe in you idiots. But
I like the way Riverboat Ron did it in that situation, going for 2 for the win with like a couple seconds on the clock like that. And I liked if you guys saw what Riverboat Ron said afterwards. He's like, we have to learn how to win here. Like, this is all new here. I have to learn this team has to learn how to win. And he said, the only way you learn how to win is by winning a fucking football game, like to actually win the game. He's like, so that's why I went for it. That's why I went for the win, because we have to know how to win here.
Play for
I'm like, I get
2
that.
other teams
Okay.
and these are the 2 teams that would actually get really scary, in my opinion, if they landed Trevor. Minnesota's 1-5. If that man ended up
Same
in my
situation.
division, I'm
Get rid of
sick.
Kirk.
Like, damn, that's a turnt division. You got Stafford, Foles, Rodgers, Lawrence. Ooh, that's a turned up quarterback division. And then the other team is the team I think is actually actively trying to get Trevor Lawrence. It's the Atlanta Falcons. Their GM already, they fired the GM, fired their coach, and the owners already said Matt Ryan's not the guy no more. They're actively trying to get this man, and that team has a legit offense. So if you do insert Trevor onto that team, the Falcons could be weird and really good. So thoughts on those 2 teams as well?
I think it goes back into the same theory as Deshaun Watson. Like, if
With who?
with the Deshaun Watson thing, like I said, like if you're the Vikings or you're the Falcons, like you're gonna have new coaches this year if you finish in that spot. There's no way.
I feel like it's no brainer though. With Deshaun Watson, the number 1 pick, it's like you may not do that, but with these 2 guys, I feel like it's a no brainer. You're taking Trevor.
Yeah, well, I think it's essentially it's the same thing. Both of those guys are very like considered like
Cousins stinks.
solid quarterbacks. The league's not like if they want to move on from Cousins, there's 16 teams will fucking want him on their team. I mean, not legitimately, but like if you need a quarterback, you want Cousins, and you don't feel terrible if you get him. So I think it's the same thing. Like if you're in those situations, get rid of the quarterback, get rid of the coach. We start over and we go grab our franchise quarterback.
The
I have
question
no
was
idea where
what
Kurt would
team
go.
what team needs him most, and I would say the Jets, strictly
Yes.
because you have no stability anywhere in your organization, like literally anywhere, bro. Like it's
But I don't know if he
it's
brings
a
that to you.
mess. It's a mess. Hey,
Franchise
starting
quarterback's
with a
supposed to-
franchise quarterback who's nice as shit, that's a good start.
I mean, they're starting there at like left tackle. You know what I'm saying?
I
The
feel
guy
like
that guards
he
them.
Eli Manning in that one. Like, I'm not going. Like, if I'm,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going.
Well, shit, if it's not Adam Gase, you might be more optimistic. Like they fire Gase and get you a better looking coach, you might be more optimistic to give it a
Start
try.
it from the ground up.
Playing in fucking New
They
York.
feel
for
like the
Jets,
Knicks to
man.
me. That team feels like the Knicks.
Absolutely.
Like they just don't know what they're doing. Like their glory years was back, like when the Knicks had their glory years, and it's never happening again.
I don't think the Jags, like I'm like I could see that team drafting Lawrence, and I wouldn't be completely upset. But I think your biggest problems aren't quarterback.
I think if you have the number 1 pick, Minshew didn't show enough, so you have to take Trevor.
Which I get that.
I'm at
I
the
get
Jags
that.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're 1-5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1-5. If you continue to go on this trout, like how could you justify not taking Trevor Lawrence
Right.
and keeping Gardner Minshew?
I mean,
like
the
Minshew would
defense
have to
is
throw
so
for
bad.
like 4,300, and like he would have to throw for a ridiculous amount of yards because he's a playmaker. I watched that whole game. Dude does make plays. Like he's elusive as hell in the pocket out of nowhere. He'll spin, duck, throw a sidearm, throw dime, and it's like, whoa, that was crazy. But at the same time, man, Trevor Lawrence is.
And I think you kind of set the precedent for the rebuild in last year's draft with the 2 first-round picks, and you went with D-end and cornerback. Cornerback seems to be pretty good. He seems okay. Henderson. Chason hasn't been that great. He needs to be better. If you go out and get more pass rush, I think, like offensively, I don't think that team is that bad. I think offensively that team's okay, but you need help in the pass rush and defensively.
I like that gadget player, Sherholt. He was from Colorado.
Laviska
Colorado State, right?
No,
Yeah,
Colorado. Right?
He Colorado State. That's
Colorado.
one.
He's a Buffalo.
He's a Buffalo.
I like him though.
I
like
love him.
I like what you guys are doing, but like I said, if you end up in that position with the number 1 pick, I don't see how you.
And I can't get mad at it. I'd be like,
then at the same time, you could fuck around and end up like the Bears did when they didn't take Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes, and you guys pass up on it, and Trevor Lawrence ends up being who we all are projecting this man to be. Then you'll be like, we had the number 1 pick and we didn't take Trevor Lawrence. Like, what were we doing? So
I don't think there's just no way you guys pass him up, Jake. Like,
Yeah,
yes,
I can't see it.
Do you
I don't
have
think anybody
other?
does.
Do you have other problems other than quarterback? Absolutely. There's more than that.
But he could mask those
we
holes.
don't know if you have your answer yet at the most important position. And like Trevor Lawrence probably is that answer. So it's like, might as well go solidify the most important position. And then from there, we can move on to those other problems.
Giants. So we're no on the Giants. So let's go through one more time. Let me get the no's. The no's would be it's a yes for Jets, no for Cincinnati.
No.
Jags is a no. All right, yeah, it's a yes. I'm saying yes for Jags.
Yeah.
If they get the pick, yes.
Zach got yes for Houston. What do you think for Houston, Zach? I mean, Jake.
No, you don't. You're not drafting Trevor Lawrence. I have my quarterback.
I'm siding with that, even though I do understand what Zach's saying. Because
I have my quarterback.
Under the rookie deal, you could put a lot of stuff around Trevor,
right?
Because you don't have to pay Watson that massive contract he just signed. But we know what we're getting from Deshaun. But Herbert looks good. So 1-4 Chargers. I can't see them doing that.
No, Herbert's earning himself another trial year for sure.
They might have punctured my man's lung on purpose to get Herbert out there. So
there's some weird shit around that guy that did that trainer. He's like,
yeah, he's a shady guy from some reports that they said.
Yeah.
Philly. They did just take my man from Oklahoma.
No, Philly's not going to do it. I still think Carson Wentz is good. He's playing with scrubs all day.
Me too. And I still think Doug loves him, and he'll never give up on him.
Yeah, they might both end up getting the door at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
And it would be unjustified because both of them are good. I think Doug's a really good coach. But I told you guys, 2.5 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I think Doug might get fired.
It's just so hard in that town, but I can't see that happening.
Washington. I do think Washington is definitely a team.
Absolutely.
Minnesota, we said yes to.
Yeah.
Because I'm completely against the idea that it is like Houston. If Minnesota ended up with the number 1 pick, Kurt, you don't even get a box. Here's this duffel bag. Beat it. Actually, when we was kids, you get the stick and it was like tied up in a bandana.
Yeah.
That's what.
Whatever you can carry. Whatever you can
like,
carry in your arms. The rest of it is in the trash. Whatever you.
I'll give you a bandana and your stick, bro. You can get the stick and hit the road with it. Like hit the road, Jack.
That shit too funny. Like the Tom and Jerry, the little sack on the stick.
Exactly. And then the last one would be Atlanta, and I think we all said Atlanta is actively trying to get him. It'd be interesting too to see where Matt Ryan would go.
Is it true Matt Ryan came to the sideline after a touchdown and said send that to T.I. or some shit like that?
Oh, I hope that's true because I did see that.
Was T.I.
T.I. was on like First Take or something, and he said if it was me, Matt Ryan would have a one-way ticket to anywhere else.
Oh yeah, I hope. I
I
Matty
really
Ice
hope
came
that
through.
story's true. I really hope that story's
Respect,
true that Matt
Matty
Ryan
Ice.
said that.
I
And
hope
Matty
he-
Ice threw a dime of a touchdown, I guess, and came to the sideline and was like, send that shit to TI or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, he did. I'm gonna believe
Hell
it. I'm going under the assumption he said that shit. That's so good. Oh man. Anything else in the football headlines, guys, before we dip out of here?
No, I'm down in the gridiron.
Alrighty. Before we switch over to the hardwood, as always, if you want to find some cool vintage gear for the hardwood, old basketball tees or any old cool t-shirts, much like what Terrence has got rocking right there. Good, cool retro gear, wrestling, sports, bands, just good retro gear. 5starvintage.com is the place to get it. Proud sponsor of this podcast, 5starvintage.com. Use our code OTHERTEAM, one word, get 15% off that next order. Again, that's 5starvintage.com. Great place for all sorts of good retro gear and little tinker stuff and just all sorts of good retro stuff. Go to 5starvintage.com. But to the hardwood, which is sadly now like our probably like least full topic.
Not gonna lie, I was
Next few
over hoops,
months.
man. Felt like
I
I
love
talked about
hoops.
basketball for 28 years.
I know,
That
but I do
season
love
felt so
hoops.
long, dog. That was a long ass season.
It really was. And now we're in the off season, probably just like a few headlines each week is kind of how it is now. And closer you get to season, the crazier stuff's
Draft
gonna
is
get.
coming. It's the fun
Draft
time
is
now.
cool. I'm definitely big on draft with Terrence, but it's 2 Clipper headlines this week, which is cool and fitting because Jacob and I love the Clippers, so that's always good. Ty Lue signs it, inks it.
Ty who? No,
Ty Lue.
that's my guy. I think that's a great signing.
So he
fantastic
signs and gets inked with the Clippers. It was heavy Mike Brown interest. Everyone got kind of scared.
Should have
And
went
we had
Mr. Potato.
Ty Lue was interviewing with
Terrence,
Harden
stop.
and the Rockets and kind of seeing that stuff. They interviewed Sam Cassell. I haven't seen much on like how the staff's going to shake out with Ty Lue.
I
but
hope Cassell's still on the staff.
I do too.
Well, unless he gets a good head coaching job somewhere, then,
Well,
fly high,
obviously.
Sam.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Good shit, Sam. Thoughts, guys? We
I
on
loved
with
it.
Ty Lue?
Chauncey Billups is also on the staff, and those were literally the 2 names that I wanted. So you get them both essentially, and I think it's going to be like they're newer age coaches, so you're going to have a good balance to me between like those analytical lineups, but also that eye test of knowing how to hoop in this day and age.
I think-
like that.
I agree with that somewhat, but to me, I think the signing was good to the point that the problem that this team had was they didn't have that like veteran leadership on the team, and now you have 2 guys who aren't too far from formerly playing, and 2 guys who have won championships and who are point guards. I think that is really going to resonate with the leadership aspect of calming guys down when shit is getting weird. Like, so I do think in that sense it's really big. Because I really love the Billups signing from that standpoint alone. Because like it's kind of what the Lakers have with the Jason Kidd sideline as well. Like you need guys who are former players over there who are truly been in bigger moments. Like Doc Rivers obviously is a former player and whatnot, but Ty Lue just won an NBA championship. Like you said, he's a modern head coach. He understands the players a little bit more better. That's horrible grammar. A little bit more better, but yeah, he understands the players better and. I don't know. I just really like the signing because it's just more modern. It's what they needed. They needed something fresh. We can't say it enough that Doc wasn't it. But Billups is a big-time assistant coach to me for them. I really think he's going to impact that team when it comes down to the playoffs and, like, guys calming down.
I sent you guys the Bleacher Report, and I've said it from the jump with whether we keep Doc or not and who do we sign next is Steve Ballmer, go to your 2 best assets, ask them who they want, what they think. They sign off on it, then that's where we go. And it said – players wanted Ty Lue, and that's all I need to know. What are my 2 best guys that are going to be my most important guys when it comes down to winning these games? Are they going to be happy with the guy calling?
Do
the
you
shot?
think Bomber was like, all right, look, P and Kawhi, like, I'm firing Doc. Who do you want? Or do you think he asked?
I think
do
it was
you guys
evolution.
Still want Doc?
Right. I think he went in there and
I
said,
felt like Bomber walked in there and was like, he's fired. Who do you guys want?
I don't know if
think
he,
that's right,
I don't know if it
Terrence.
was. I don't think it's that. I think it's more. I'm growing tired of Doc. Are you guys growing tired of Doc? What's it like over there? I want to fire
Similar,
Doc.
but I think he was like,
Well,
he's
you-
probably going, fellas. Who y'all want?
Yeah, I don't
Right.
think he went in there with a hammer, like a hammer fist and an iron fist.
I think it was pretty
Like,
close.
he's gone.
I
I
think
feel
it was
like
similar to that.
I don't know.
Like he didn't say it, but he insinuated it.
Right.
It's like
I think he
we're
probably let them
firing
know.
Doc's written on the board right over his shoulder. He's like, how do you guys feel about Doc?
No
He's
way.
fired,
I
but-
think Steve Ballmer's too good a businessman because at the end of the day, what if he does that and those two guys are like, no, I love Doc, I need Doc. Like then you just like now you're.
Nah, I don't think
you're
anybody's
fucked. Like
saying that though.
you don't know that. I think they had an honest conversation. Like we're thinking of getting
Possibly.
Doc. What do you think? Like okay, we can move. We can
Possibly.
live with moving on from Doc. He pulled bullshit with his mantra and shit. Like I'm down to
But
get
you
rid
gotta
of him.
respect Bomber from
And-
a business element. Like when he comes into a room, I'm pretty sure Kawhi and PG respect his mindset from like what this
Yeah.
man was able to build in his life. So it's like if I come in here with my iron fist, like, hey, fellas, like I watched this season of past. Because how long has Bomber on the team? 3 years now?
Yeah. No,
That's
fourth
longer
year.
than
now.
Fourth,
This was the
fourth
fourth
year,
year.
fourth year.
And he's had Doc for the majority of that run. All
whole
of that
time.
run,
All of
actually.
the run.
Yeah, what I'm talking about. He had Doc the majority. Let me stop saying it. The whole run. And so for him to see Doc this whole time, for him to walk in there and be like, I'm firing him, I'm pretty sure the players will respect that because it's like you've been here long enough. You're Steve Ballmer, dude, of Microsoft. Like,
Steve is a
you know what you're talking
businessman,
about.
but he's not a
a
basketball man.
basketball guy. I get that.
Right. So that's why I don't think he walked in like to the two best basketball minds on the team and we're like, we're fucking firing him. Now what's next? Like,
Is Mark Cuban a basketball mind?
I think over the years he probably has developed, but overall, like no. And that's why Mark Cuban isn't the GM over there. And I feel like Mark Cuban would probably
Well, yeah,
just
no,
smart
he's
enough
not
to have that conversation, you know? And I think that's why Steve probably had a legitimate conversation. It probably led to, okay, we're looking at Mike Brown made a really good impression. What do you think there? We also just interviewed Ty Lue, Sam Cassell. What do you think of these three guys? And they were probably like, fuck Mike Brown. We're done with that. He's an old ass coach. I want this new modern guy. And I think it's more of a back and forth conversation than you guys really give the players
Maybe.
credit for.
Steve was like, "That's weird. We really
Because
like."
do you
Mike."
think Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss are walking in on LeBron and telling him like, we made this decision. What do you think about what's next? Like,
No,
no.
but this is LeBron
Ka-
James we're talking.
I was just about to say that, bro. We said,
Kawhi
what's our
Leonard's
key?
getting that same
What's our
treatment.
slogan on this show?
There's levels to this shit. Kawhi Leonard is getting that same treatment for his
Exactly.
team. Absolutely, you're crazy.
And that's
the guy just worked his own work schedule last year. Like if you don't think they're coming to him, and
That
asking
was the
what you
problem.
think, regardless,
That really-
like you're
wait, quickly,
definitely running
side
shit
note on that,
through him,
'cause-
and you're not iron fisting it for your superstar like that. No way.
They shouldn't have gave. It's evident that they shouldn't have gave Kawhi that crazy amount of power because how we always talk about it. It's levels to this shit. I believe if you gave LeBron that amount of power, everybody would probably be like, "It is what it is, fellas. We got to get in line."
Yeah,
but
outside of
it's-
Kyrie, but yes.
Yeah, it's not exactly Kyrie. Kyrie. We all know every time Kyrie speaks, that's an interesting brother right there.
Yeah.
But with LeBron, it's like, okay, we just got to buy in. Like Kobe, you just got to buy in. Well, maybe not even with Kobe, but probably with Kobe, you got to buy in. And Jordan, you just got to buy in. Like, this is the way it is with these guys. With Kawhi, evident it was not that way because players on the team who were not superstars felt salty about it. Patrick Beverly, Montrez, and Lou, I highly doubt you pull that shit in Lakerland.
Yeah, I feel like all three of them are gone since they got.
They
like,
are gone.
personally
They are
named.
gone. But
I'm
I
like,
really don't believe they pull that shit in Lakerland. You think you're gonna act like that with LeBron?
I still feel like this too. Like, I think it's more to say about those three guys than it is
As
about
haters.
Kawhi.
They're lucky haters too.
Because like it's I told you guys this, like if Kawhi didn't perform, then I could get your grief, right? But it was like every time Kawhi was on the court, he performed. He had a career year, and like Luka Doncic hits that game winner, and you're thinking, "Oh boy, here come the Clippers."
Yeah, but practice is where you
And-
get your chemistry.
In the first round, here they go again. And what did Kawhi do? Strapped in, won the next two games, and was the best player on the floor. He was the best.
But Lou
player out
has
there.
no argument, bro. Like you left and did some stupid shit and brought controversy to the bubble. Like,
Right,
you
so, like-
have no right.
For them to sit there and be like, well, Kawhi doesn't get to, like, don't fucking worry about me because when the lights are on, I showed up. Like, I'm here. I'm doing
But
it.
I also don't want my leader to have that mentality.
I hit the deck. But what I'm saying is, like, if you surround him with the right players, that mentality isn't really there because it's like the right players.
That's why
would respect it to
Duncan,
me.
Parker, Ginobili,
Yeah, it's different.
Kyle
though.
Lowry were so important. No, Kyle Lowry, people don't give
Oh,
Kyle
yeah,
Lowry's
yeah.
roses enough. Kyle Lowry is a leader in
Yeah,
that every
absolutely.
word of it. Absolute in every word, bolded exclamation mark behind it.
All
Kyle
of it.
Lowry's a leader, and that is one of the main reasons. Kawhi's a fantastic player, but the word leader may not be in his bio. And that's
I mean,
okay, but he's a fantastic player.
I think it's more of like when I read that, I thought more like, you know, a lot of people, I feel like kind of including you guys, immediately jumped at Kawhi like, wow, this is such a bad look for Kawhi. And all I thought was like, A, it's a bad
Bad
look
look for both.
I was thinking, A, it's a bad look for Doc Rivers because you didn't have your locker room in check at all. You didn't have people. You have to know
Nice.
basketball. We
Great
say
point.
it all the time. the best asset about a role player is knowing your fucking role. It seems like guys didn't know their goddamn role.
Facts. Fantastic point.
And the second thing I thought was like, that's on you three. Like, coming from three of the guys, Patrick Beverly couldn't stay on the fucking floor. Montrezl Harrell couldn't stop getting cooked. And Lou Williams couldn't hit a jump shot. So the three guys that didn't perform are the three that want to talk about my guy who fucking performed. Like, the whole thing all year was like, okay, well, if we rest him, he'll play all playoffs and he'll play at an elite level. Kawhi played all playoffs and he played at an elite fucking level.
I think you said it best. It comes down to Doc not having control of that locker room and establishing that, look, guys, like, he is going to get this way, but we still got to like form a team. It was no chemistry in that locker room. Like, and it's evident. That's probably one of the main reasons why Doc got fired is like you having guys who clearly don't know their role barking at the number one dog, even though he shouldn't get this extra treatment, but we signed this deal. We got to make it work now.
Right.
But Kawhi also has to be a little bit better in a sense too, because if your teammates are truly salty about it, bro, you're the leader of this team. You gotta somewhat adjust. You can't just.
And you gotta find a way to bring them together and bring it in. 100%, I agree with that for sure.
So that
and they said he lived in San Diego, so like if that was the case, that means that
me,
dude really was not at practice, and that's wild.
like
If
not
you-
in the building. It feels like.
Yeah, like I don't know if this is true,
Show
but
up,
if that is the
work,
case,
and
this
left.
is. If you're living in San Diego and you're just pulling up to the games, that is destroying your team chemistry. You're already missing games. You're already not having to practice. And then,
Oh yeah, you build that.
Like that- that's no chemistry.
You build the chemistry on the court, but you really
you build your chemistry in practice when guys are going at each other.
A lot
fighting.
of times, yeah, and a lot of times you build the chemistry like not playing basketball. You know what I mean? Like
Just being around each other,
just
doing stuff,
being guys
On
in
the
the
road.
locker room and on the road together and
playing ping pong, playing video games, watching
Playing
TV,
in the ice tub,
going to dinner,
getting your
going to
ankles
ice
wrapped.
tub, right?
Yep,
All that shit.
all that exactly. That's where you get a lot of chemistry shit, which is
But it
honestly
sound like with both
That's
of
what
them, it
makes
also sound like
LeBron so
P
good.
and Kawhi was like, all right, game's over. I'll see y'all later. And it's like,
Right.
you can't have that from your superstars.
Shit
Because
ain't
that's
over.
one thing
and it
LeBron
could be the
didn't do.
dynamic. It could be the dynamic they were brought into. Like this team was so successful and bonded so hard last year without
Oh,
them.
that's lame if they came into like a little buddy, like sorority type shit and they felt like outcasts and they're the main
Right.
dogs. Oh
That's-
my God. That could be
which-
the case too. Whoa, that's
which
wild
once
that was.
again falls on your coach because the coach has
Exactly.
to find a way to integrate all that. That's Zen.
That's what made Steve Kerr
That-
so great.
Zen Master Phil. That's one of his best fucking qualities.
That's a great point because that's what made Steve Kerr so great when he was able
So
to just insert
if-
KD
right.
without
If
any
Kawhi
issues.
and P come in and they kind of fell outside the clique,
Oh,
maybe.
that's a great point.
And it was hard, so they kind of just were like, okay, well, I'm gonna hoop and go, and we'll figure it out. That could be. I mean, it's all speculation, but
Obviously.
I think that
Interesting.
just that things like that might build resentment. Kawhi or Bev, Trez, and Lou every day after practice are linking together and doing their thing, and they're watching.
Next week we got to dive
off.
really into free agency, like because I think we'll have more free agency names coming out and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll get the draft better. But what are some of the free agency players you think should be hitting the Lakers outside of just point guards? 'Cause I know we have
You
that
mean
as one of our
Clippers?
topics.
Yeah.
I mean, what did I say, Lakers? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For the Clippers, I know we have point guard on our docket of what positions you guys think, but the Clippers do need a couple of other pieces outside
Yeah.
of point
I
guard.
think
So what do you think?
Point
What are
guard
some names?
is obviously the main.
The main.
And another.
Zach, what was the
a
point
good
guard
big,
docket you
a
wanted to talk
good
about?
big.
Right, a good big for sure. They had they put the graphic up, wanted point guard, and these are like apparently look like the 5 most intriguing names to target for the Clippers. It's Jeff Teague, Fred VanVleet, Derrick Rose, Rajon Rondo, Chris Paul are the 5 faces up
Van
there.
Vliet's not realistic. He's almost going to get maxed out.
I'm
not
thinking he's
realistic.
going to get maxed out. It would be hard to get Fred, but what do you think of those 5? Who do you think? I immediately
Teague
said
is
Brent
not an upgrade. That's
Donovan.
Reggie
I would
Jackson.
love- no,
I literally
no,
said
no.
Jeff Teague.
Teague is-
We do
Same
not
player.
He's
want him.
Yeah, that's
Reggie
the
not
same
want
player.
him.
He's
Yeah.
the same player as Reggie
Yeah.
Jackson. Same
Reggie
tier, in my
probably
opinion.
shoots better from the catch and shoot, which is what this guy needs to be able to do. So
Jeff Teague.
I'll probably
I
go
don't know.
Reggie.
They're like the same guy. Neither one of them are bad players, but like, you're
I
not what they
was-
need.
My
I was-
immediate thing
my
was
eyebrows
bring
went up
Chris
with
Paul
Jeff
home.
Well,
My
yeah,
immediate
but
thing was
how do
bring
you
Chris
get
Paul
them?
home.
How the fuck do you
Same
get
thing
them?
with Van Vliet.
You
You
already
can't afford him.
gave them all your assets. How do you give them? Like, what do you have left to give them?
You don't have
know,
any
Jay.
money.
I'll
Where's
give them
the
my
money?
firstborn. Who cares? Get him
In my opinion,
over here.
the team,
I
the
got
player on
three.
that list.
I got 3 dudes that I hate that we need to get the fuck out the door.
What's
They
the
gotta
other
have
people?
some value.
Was Rondo on that list? Was Rondo?
Sign
on
and
it?
trade with
Rondo was
sign and trade
definitely
with
on the
Trez. Trez is young. You sign and
I
trade
don't
Trez.
want
That's
Rondo. Rondo's gonna come.
No,
from
Rondo's not it.
sabotage. I
To
don't want
me,
it.
the
I don't want
person
that.
on
I do
that
want
list
Rondo.
is Derrick Rose. I think that's the player they should go after.
I mean,
it
he
gives you the
seems
scoring that
affordable
you
and
need when
doable.
shit gets weird. You also get a point guard. But see, the thing about Derrick Rose is he also isn't the most traditional point guard. And he's also not the most, well, actually, I take it back. He is pretty knocked down now. He's evolutionized to be a knockdown shooter. I think Derrick Rose is, out of everybody on that list, he's the most realistic as well. And he brings you what you need. Like,
If you're gonna make a splash, you need to go drag Drew Holiday away from fucking New Orleans. If you're
that
gonna
not
make
happen.
a
You and every other
splash.
team in the league wants him.
Yeah, no shit.
If you're gonna really make a move and give up assets, at least you can get somebody younger there. Because Chris Paul, I feel like is gonna be too expensive.
I wonder where Montrez is getting like signed and traded to.
Sign and trade for Chris Paul, please.
Dude, that deal won't be
Get
big
him
enough.
out of here.
I feel like Trez gonna be in like Charlotte.
I'll give them all three. I'll give them all three of those assholes that just came out against Kawhi in the article for Chris Paul right now. Tomorrow. Bev, Lou, Trez. You can have all three of them.
It's crazy how y'all
Yeah.
just turned on Bev. Bev was the heart and soul of the team.
He is. Honestly, he was. They only won with him, but fuck, if you're gonna be out here causing problems,
It just feels like a lot of the players and like
what's
You
gonna
don't need
happen?
to-
with
right
Phil?
now, we
it
don't need that
feels
shit.
fabricated. Bev's antics feel fabricated, and I feel like a lot of people see through that.
Bev
No, a
yelled
lot
at the
of
one lady
opposing
reporter
teams.
during the COVID meeting, like on some wild shit, and I had my eyebrow raised right there. I
Who
was
the
like,
fuck is she? And they were
Yeah.
like, chill, she's with us. Like,
yeah, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Yeah, that
and then he
wild
was
to
out,
be
and then he
disrespectful
out
like
here
that.
talking more shit about all this shit about goddamn Kawhi, and Bev ain't playing either.
well, that's why I said Bev's talking shit. It's like you didn't even get on the floor. At least Kawhi played when he was
Well,
supposed
the
to
funny
play.
thing about
He was
Bev was
sitting
Bev
there
was
in
running
ones
his
and
mouth
two
to
chains
every
right next to
team,
him.
and it was because those two guys had came, bro. You all juice like we winning a title, and it ain't because of you. You winning a title because you
In
just
Bev's
signed those two
defense,
guys.
He's always talked shit though. He's always been a shit talker.
Of course, but it's like don't talk shit happily with these guys and then throw them under the bus. Like, that's loser shit.
exactly. I've been said Bev could go. We need a real point guard, anyways.
Lakerland believe they're getting Bradley Beal. It is getting weird because Bradley's Bill's wife or girlfriend. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if that is your wife, but she has been liking a lot of Laker
Look,
to
dude,
Bradley Beal
the
posts.
Lakers will find anything on the internet to justify whatever star is available is coming to their
The hell
team.
with the Laker fans. This is his wife or fiance,
Right.
girlfriend.
They
I'm
do
not
this
sure.
every year. They find something from somebody's relative.
She's doing it. You're missing my point. You go look through
Okay,
her likes.
in the last
it's
three-
nothing but Laker shit.
Okay, in the last 10 guys that were supposed to go to Lakers, their fucking fiance or
Who?
cousin or brother or whoever
Who?
did some dumb shit.
Who?
Uncle Dennis was out here talking about how Kawhi was going to the fucking Lakers. Russell Westbrook
But did
was
we
supposed
have
to go to the
any?
Lakers.
Uncle
Kevin
Dennis.
Love was supposed to this shit happens all the time, dude.
All I'm saying is,
Where's that
that's
fucking
weird.
Ari kid? That's probably
But this ain't Ari's. You missing the point.
No,
Ari
that's
is the
it.
type of guy that's gonna find somebody.
Ari's not freaking Bradley
Forget
Beal's
he said
wife.
Ari. Who cares? Like he said,
Every
Uncle
year,
Dennis, Kawhi's
somebody-
supposed uncle is out here. Oh, he's going. Like that's
When did
that's
Dennis
to
say
me.
that,
Like
though?
who cares? During
the
the
whole
whole shit,
offseason.
the whole
was
offseason, it
like
was always Uncle
Ari
Dennis.
was
Oh yeah.
reporting this and that. And
When did he
the
say
other,
he was going to the
this
Lakers? I
guy.
don't remember.
During
Uncle
the
Dennis
whole
ever
free
saying-
agent, during the whole
It's
free
like
agency battle.
He's holding out for them. That's what I'm saying. Don't believe everything.
I'm not
year-
believing shit.
Eh,
Y'all are,
right,
but
that's-
you jumping over the bridge. I said that's interesting, and I do
No,
believe
that
that
shit
is
don't ever mean
interesting.
nothing to me. It's like
It
when
never-
they say like, "Oh, he bought a house in Miami
Right,
or LA."
exactly.
I'm like, they all do. They all got him out there. Like to me, I don't know. Like, I'm not
that's
buying this
different.
shit.
To me, I still find that interesting because it's
Ah,
evident
I'm not
Bradley
gonna stop
doesn't
you
want to
there.
be in Washington.
Oh, definitely.
Everything has
definitely.
context. Bradley doesn't want to be in Washington. Bradley's
Yeah.
been advocating to get some goddamn respect. Dude, averaged 30 this year, didn't make any team. Just saw AD finally get his roses. You guys are absurd to think none of that matters. I understand, like, yes, I agree.
That
Jake.
matters.
I understand everything
Those
you're
things
saying,
matter.
but the fact that she is being blatantly obvious, because she are no, look, I want you guys to understand. Bradley Beal's wife, I want to say it's his wife, but she always not speaks, but she's openly active on social media. She speaks a lot, and it's always about him. So I'm not saying anything she says truly holds water, but I also think it may hold some water. It's still
I
your
don't.
significant other. Like at the end of the day, you
I
speak
don't.
to her.
I don't think it.
It
means
is whatever.
Much of anything.
Yeah,
It may
I
not.
don't look into that shit at all. Absolutely not.
Don't. I do.
But I don't think he'll be in Washington. If we're gonna go down the road, I don't think he'll be in Washington.
No,
And
he'll
if
be
he
in
does go
Lakerland.
to, if he
He's
does
been
go to
pretty
Lakers, sure. But I don't think it has anything to do with his wife. Like that's not. That's
I
not
don't
where
think
I'm
his
looking
wife
today.
is the reason why he's signing to the Lakers. She could just be dropping tidbits that this man wants to go to the Lakers.
Maybe, or maybe she wants to relocate to LA.
I'm just saying, but that's also the case. Guys could be hinting out like, "Hey, I'm looking for a trade, man." Like how Trevor Bauer is slightly talking about wanting to go to the Dodgers. Are you guys reading into that? Could you actually let me get
I'm
on
not.
that? So, but you definitely you told me you was reading into that.
I said he's
we
gonna do
said
it with
from
every
jump
team.
he's gonna troll every team, and he
I said
did. He's trolled every team.
He's trolled every team. I can't wait for him to. I said I can't wait for him to do it.
If you
to the
look at my
Dodgers.
tweets when he's doing it, I'm putting stuff like "laugh my ass off, just come through, bro." Like, because I know he's trolling. We know he's trolling.
I said it after
I
he
don't
did it
know.
in the first game of the
You was
playoffs.
talking to me about that tweet of him literally talking about the Dodgers needing starting pitching.
Yeah, he said
He
it
did
to everybody.
He did it with the Yankees. He did it with the Padres. He did it with the Braves. He did it with the
Rays.
Dodgers. He did it with the Rays.
So
He's
you read
tweeted
nothing
all-
into none of those. One of those
None of
tweets
those.
must mean
The-
something.
The very
No,
first
one of
all
them
he
must mean
sent-
something.
The
No,
very
they're all
first
trolling.
one
If
he
he signs
sent-
with one of them,
The very
One of them was
first one
true.
he sent was with the Yankees,
Like
and
the
I
coin.
said, this guy's hilarious. He's gonna do this with every single team. I fucking love this King Troll.
Yeah, big troll. Like
The
not
first one
one
was with
tweet
the
means
Yankees.
anything.
And
Not
I
one
was
tweet
like,
means
he's
anything.
fucking hilarious because that's what
regardless,
he just
you
wants
don't
to
have to
get
take
the-
it for anything.
tweet.
I'm gonna keep that in my memory bank if it ever happens. You guys could keep it for whatever you want. To me, it's interesting. Is it a story? No. Am I gonna go write a TED talk about it? No. Am I
No.
gonna save it in my memory bank? 1,000%, because that's interesting to me.
I agreed with what Zach said, where he said it holds the same weight as when somebody says like, well, he just sold his house and bought a house here. Like he said, I'll fucking.
I don't agree.
Everybody's like
Because like these guys are professional athletes. They buy houses anywhere. Like that don't matter. They got money. They got money we don't know anything about.
That's
or
like
whoever know.
the same weight I put on it.
Interesting.
I don't know
though.
shit.
Bradley
I do-
Bill is a
I do
major
want-
piece to add to somebody.
I do want Trevor Bauer deeply bad though in a Dodger uniform.
Yeah, of course. I love Trevor.
Like I
Bauer.
said, I don't know if it holds a crazy amount of weight, but I
We'll
think
see.
it at
We'll
least
see. I mean, maybe,
deserves
you know,
to be mentioned.
We'll
It's
see.
interesting to say the least.
If he
Because
ends
like
up
if you were in a
Laker,
relationship and you were on a free agency, about to be a
Snatching.
free
like
agent,
all
or
that
you're-
shit for it.
I don't think Bradley Bill's actually about to be a free agent, but let's just say you're a superstar disgruntled, and
You're on the move.
wife
You're on the move.
is on social media just firing off shit, talking about he wants to go here, he wants to go here, he wants to go here, and you're not gonna be like, hey, that's a little wild. Can you not say that? Like,
I'm about to snatch her phone and tell her shut the hell up.
but the
Like,
fact that
what?
it's still firing off is like, okay, well, that's a little interesting.
maybe,
that's
maybe
all
she
I'm
don't
saying.
even know what the hell she's talking about.
I highly doubt that. Because if you follow her social media account, she's a very informed person when it comes to hoops. But like I said, you don't have to hold it with a lot of weight or hold it with any weight. It's interesting.
It'll rear up again. We're gonna get much more Bradley Bill talk. We're definitely be coming back to this. As I said,
What's crazy
I'm
is
not sure he ends up
it's
in
gonna
Washington
be a
anyways.
pretty short off season. So I think like once the Woj bombs start hitting and like it starts getting going, like it's gonna hit fast this off season.
Oh, it's a super short off season.
Are you ready to get down?
You guys got a little. You guys had some fight night.
Yeah, it was.
Lomachenko and Lopez.
We typically get into the MMA around here, but it was the Loma boxing match. Great. Oh my God, Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez. Wow,
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn kid plus 400 underdog beats the legend Lomachenko for all the goddamn.
I hit
belts.
that ticket. I only bet $5, so I
Uh,
won $20.
Hey, take it though. That's dinner.
Yeah, I was too scared.
Oh.
Scary money don't make no money.
Yeah, they.
Literally.
I had a supervisor throw like
Cha-ching.
$1,000. That fool was jumping around. He won $4,000 on that. He was going
Oh,
crazy.
lit.
So shout out to him. Yeah, he's a maniac. Great fight. We went into discussion about this too, but just what a damn good fight. Lomachenko, the way he won the middle of that fight, those like really boxing rounds, 7 through 11, just let you know like why he's a legend. I know he loses the fight, and we'll get into
I
it.
felt
but
Loma
it's
fought him
like those-
disrespectfully.
But it's like those rounds, 7 through 11, when Loma's back was against the wall and he had to win those rounds to get into the fight and to have even a chance. Like it was such good boxing and it was so good. Like, that was great. Gosh, Fimo is just, who knew coming into the fight he would be he was so skilled and poised there, and everyone thought he'd be coming in gunslinging for a knockout, and he really went in there and boxed his way to a victory. Fantastic.
Yeah, he definitely boxed his way to the victory. But to me, Loma just fought that fight disrespectfully. He didn't think this kid was as good as he was, and that's why you lost that fight. You went out there thinking you could just give up these. I don't think he meant to give up the first 6. I felt like he wanted to give up the first 3
2 or
rounds,
3,
fill the
yeah.
kid out. But then it got to the point to Lopez caught his rhythm and found his range, and 2, I'm not a bum, dude. Like they said it before the fight. When they asked Lopez what he wants to be, he was like, I want to be the champion, but it's not just that. I want to be legendary. Like when guys say shit like that, you should really heed to what they're saying and really how they say it. Like everybody want to be legendary, but do you really? And to go out there and beat Loma and then to go take it in that 12th round like that,
so far.
when to look at the scorecard, because his dad, if every time when you heard in the corner, his dad told him, you got this fight. It's yours. It's yours. It's yours. And then for his son to be out there in the 12th round, like, nah, fuck that. I'm out here. And went to go win that fight. And then when you hit a scorecard, how lopsided it was, that showed me right there. The kid does want to be great. Because your dad, your corner was telling you the whole fight that you're dominating. You don't need to do this. You're dominating the fight. And then the scorecard proved you was dominating the fight. But you in your head was like, nah, I'm not satisfied with that. I'm not good with that. I want to dominate this last round. Let everybody know I won this fight. That's greatness right there. And that was disrespectful for Loma to try to fight him that way, to give him 6 rounds of just trying to fill somebody out in a title fight.
I absolutely agree. The only thing I disagree is that like the scorecard says you. The
scorecard was blasphemous though.
Blasphemous scorecard, absolutely ridiculous. There's no way you can have it 119 to 109, a 10-round advantage.
I don't win in 1 round.
How that? If you were watching the fucking fight,
I had a tie going into it.
Dude, if you saw 7 through 11, there's not one round 7 through 11 you can tell me female won. Like not.
I don't know, because I did look back. They did show it again. You could make a case that Loma wasn't definitively winning those rounds.
Oh,
like those rounds were still close. It was I do believe the 7th, 8th round, he took it to Lopez. But I do believe in the 10th round, in the 11th round, Lopez was still in those rounds. So
definitive.
Depending on how you was judging the fight and how you already had this preconceived notion that, and this is honestly how judges was already judging. Lopez has won the first 6 rounds of you just shadow boxing, and then now you trying to turn it on, and this kid's still fighting you as you're turning it on. In my head, I'm still like, he's winning the fight just because you're coming at me trying to turn it on. Now I beat you the first 6 rounds, and I'm still matching you coming at me, but now you're trying to win the fight. I'm pretty sure the judges are scoring like, okay, yeah, he's still matching him though.
Yeah, so, I don't think he was matching him in those rounds personally. I think like Loma definitively turned it on, finally found like his angles, started going to the body more. Thank God.
But the punching was still even though. Like the numbers were still even.
I think
Loma's like even when around and Loma have landed 20 punches, but Lopez had landed 14. So it's like even if you won that round compared to what I've already done in here, we're all human. We all still have that in our head. Like that's why boxing and MMA scoring is so damn hard. But to me,
I mean, I think we can both agree. And I think Jacob, I don't know if you ended up watching the fight.
He lost the fight.
Loma lost the fight. I totally agree that like there's no way you could tell me Loma won the fight. The scorecard's completely blasphemous. At best, you could have given a draw, and I would have completely understood a draw.
No.
But I think so. I think so. You could have given a draw because if you give Loma the second round, which a lot of people did, then plus 7 through 11, that's a draw, because Fimo clearly won the 12.
Yeah, but like I said, those 10th
but that's
and 11th,
literally at best. Like there's no way
if you really scored it, it probably was like a true scoring. Probably was like 7-5.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, I don't think Loma won any less than 5 rounds. Like,
that's what I'm saying. The true scoring, I think it was 7-5. That he beat him 2 rounds, 2 rounds to his 5. But
yeah.
But this weekend, I'm excited, boy. About to have the man pick him up and let the world know who I am. Khabib is about to give it to Justin Gaethje, even though I want Gaethje to win the fight because Khabib is just kind of a boring fighter, but I don't see it happening. I see the hand to the back of the neck, first round, bear paw to the ground, ground and pound, and just 5 rounds of torture.
The hand to the back of the neck is a death sentence with Khabib sometimes, man. Like, good golly, get it out of here.
But if Gaethje goes out there, tries to fight him like Ian Quinta fought Khabib, get low and just try to throw tanks, he could, because Gaethje does have thunderous power. Like,
oh yeah, we all seen the last fight with Gaethje. It was so entertaining. It was so good.
We all think McGregor's a great striker, correct? We all believe McGregor's a fantastic striker. Absolutely. Well, Khabib went out there, stood with him, robbed Connor's ass, and then still took him to the ground. So, like, is Gaethje a better striker than Connor? You could argue that. But ultimately, Khabib still feels good on his feet as well, and that's scary if that dude can't stand on his feet.
I'll obviously say, like, I'm not going to call my shot with Gaethje. Yeah, for sure. And when they see the new Derek,
see the new Justin.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I hope it's a good fight. I kind of hope it's a little better because in my expectation, I'm with you. I kind of expect like a Khabib landslide. As much as I love Gaethje, he's probably like amongst my favorite new fighters. I think he's great personality. He's got some really good post-match interviews and stuff. That being said, you just don't pick against Khabib. You don't.
Yeah,
do it.
you don't.
Undefeated, 28-0. Like, come on, man.
You wildin' if you're picking
And
against him.
it's more than 28-0. It's like
Probably something like
definitive,
50-0.
nasty, like brutal, lopsided, like just dominates.
I want to see Khabib's amateur career. Like, does he have any amateur losses? And if so,
probably
who the hell was
literally
that?
snapped
There's
the
no
guy
way.
in Russia in half, and they had to like take it off of. It's probably on like the dark web, like
Dude,
because
you
it was
can look
just
up his
too
old
heinous.
amateur fights, and it's gonna be like 1-0 versus Bear. Huh?
Yeah.
Like,
Literally
he's 2-0
ripped a
versus Bears.
bear's head off.
No, no,
his
and it's just one
shoulders
name, it
and
just says
drank the
Cosmo.
blood.
And they're like,
Like-
they're like, who's Cosmo? They're like, he was some fucking circus bear we found. We couldn't find a fight for this guy.
I'm like, like it's probably dark web only, not suitable for work
Oh,
material. Like,
that's hilarious.
CTB? Who the fuck's CTB? Oh, that's Cosmo the bear.
Oh, that's fantastic.
yeah.
Co-main, though, we do have Robert Whitaker versus Jared Cannonier. We already had the style bender come out and say if Cannonier wins that fight, he will fight him. Cannonier's 13-4. Robbie Whitaker did just get the breaks beat off of him by the style bender, but Robbie Whitaker is a really good fighter. I don't think he would beat him in a rematch, but whatever happens here, they will be facing the style bender. I'm pulling from Cannonier because like I just said, I already
I don't
seen
mind
Robbie get
I was
underdogs.
just about to say that.
Like, I don't
I
want
was
to see.
like-
I don't like seeing the same fights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were talking about this after the Stylebenders fight. Like, this division is just like clamoring for new fighters.
He's not going to leave this division because I do think he is interested in a John Jones fight, and if he beats John Jones, well, and he could because they're like the Spider-Man meme. They're very
They got the
similar in
frame.
fights.
They got the same
they're
frame.
same frame, same style of fighting. But I think Stylebender strikes better than he does. I think he's way better striker than John Jones is. But I think John's a better grappler and so forth. But Stylebender's definitely on like because he's chasing Silva. He's chasing Anderson Silva's streak in that division. I want to say it's something like 26 or something straight.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say
something
3,
wild
26,
where
something crazy,
Anderson's
yeah.
the go-do. Be out there just dancing, talking shit. Like Silva, man, nobody can be that, man. Like, but that's what I'm thinking. Why Stylebender's not going to be taking too many risks to like, oh, I want to go jump out the division to go fight these guys. There's no point when he can like really get the legacy and then try to go do all of that stuff.
Right.
But that should be a good fight too, though. Robbie
Yeah.
Whitaker, Cannonier.
I'm kind of pulling for Whitaker. I would like to see an upset. I'm not like too invested in either, but I kind of want to see Whitaker
Same.
bounce back. Like, really good fighter. It would be bummer to see him lose 2 fights in a row like that. So if he does end up bouncing back well, I don't expect him to beat the Stylebender at all, but it would just be nice to see him bounce back one time and then he'll go get his ass whooped and put that Stylebender shit to rest.
Then you got some heavyweights right here with Alexander Volkov and Walt Harris. Walt Harris is coming off a big loss. He was on the fight night. It was right after his daughter had passed.
Mhm.
It was the first fight since his daughter had passed. And Volkanov, I want to say Volkanov is coming off a loss as well. I'm not sure. He might have won though.
He's tough. Don't get
No, he
messed up
won
with-
his last fight. Yeah, he beat Curtis Blades in the decision. Yeah, in the main event. That's what I thought. I felt like he won his last fight. So you got that fight coming up, and then you have another fight on the main card that I do not know who this fighter is. So always star these guys. He's 4-0. Jacob Malcone. He's fighting on the main card. I'm pretty sure this is. Let me look him up. This probably is his first UFC fight. Yeah, it looks like this is his
Thanks.
first UFC fight. So, and his nickname's Mamba. Interesting. Who are you, kid?
Bet the house. Not
Yeah, shit, maybe.
nickname Mamba. Bet the house.
And then lastly, just to get up off the card quickly, but then we also have Lauren Murphy and Lily Sarkova. And then you got not trying that. And then we're going to the prelims. We don't even know who those are. Oh, yeah, we got Steven Struve, the 7-footer.
All,
The big
all
homie.
legs, all arms and
Yeah,
legs.
all legs and arms. And then you got Tia Tuiasa. He's a big heavyweight
Yeah, he's
from
cool.
Hawaii. So that's their daily report on MMA and combat sports and boxing as well.
Yeah, I like when we get good fights. We don't always get to bring it in here. You know, it's a slower sport. Obviously, there's only one good bout about a week, if that sometimes. But that Loma, I was glad we got to get in here. I'm glad you didn't let us
That was a
forget
good
that.
fight.
All right, boys. It's time to bring us home. What have you guys been doing? We've been watching, reading.
I'm
excited.
working.
This week I'm going to Vegas, so I'm definitely excited to be.
Hey! Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all on
yeah.
I wish Yeah, bet it all on black. Now I'm about to be out there for the NBA draft, so we're gonna be out there talking to some prospects who should be getting drafted.
You won't let me send you $20 and you go put $20 on black for me?
It's gonna be $20 for food, but good looks, G. I'm glad you're trying to treat me to
that
lunch.
that ball already came up red, Jake. Sorry.
Good looks on taking me to lunch, but yeah, excited to get some.
Tell us about
See
that
what these
again. What are
prospects
you,
are
what are
about.
you
You won't
actually
get-
doing out there, Terrence? So
You
plug
won't
that
get
real quick.
LaMelo Ball on the podcast next week.
Nah, I wish I could, but so I'm going out there to basically they're holding like a little combine at one of these training facilities. So it's the players getting ready. So I'll be out there interviewing them throughout the draft process and letting them hear.
This will be your
Get
first
their
time
voices
doing
out.
interview
Nice.
stuff like post COVID and stuff. So you'll have to do like
I'll
Yeah,
be
definitely.
sure to,
COVID regulation
ask
type
you
stuff.
about that
Interesting.
Yeah,
next show. I'll be sure to ask you a bunch on that.
yes, sir. So when
That's cool, man.
LaMelo's on the show, yeah, you guys are welcome, man.
Yeah, thanks. Man. I
You
appreciate
won't
that.
even be at this one though.
Zach, what have you been watching?
Honestly,
Or the last
just
this week?
I just want.
I've been
to
watching a
tell
lot of
you guys-
Girlfriends though.
I
Side note, Girlfriends. On
What's
Netflix.
that?
Okay, serious. I don't know
Old
what
school
that
black
is.
TV show.
Oh, okay. I have been
Yeah.
watching
It's like
Fresh
2000s.
of Bel Air the last few nights. And
Great,
it's
love it.
Absolutely hysterical. I also caught a few episodes of The Boondocks because they're both on HBO. Also hilarious last couple nights. And then Champions League came back today, baby. Manchester United, 88th minute. Marcus Rashid with the winner over PSG 2-1. I'm lit. We're big ass underdogs today, so I'm juiced up over that. I've been waiting all episode.
Chelsea
And I got the
Blues
Bleacher
had a-
Report.
How's my
today.
team doing, Jake? How's my soccer team?
Lester?
I'd have to look. Premier League's a little weird right now to start. They're not in Champions League. You guys missed that cut, so you're in Europa.
Yeah, we got demoted.
Well,
No.
no. Two different tournaments. So Premier
Oh,
League is
all right, I got you.
like regular season, and then the Champions League is a separate
It's
tournament.
like the playoffs.
Yeah, kind of.
We make the
You're,
playoffs.
you didn't make but you're in fourth place. You're good. You're 3 wins, no ties, 2 losses to start the season.
So what's the
you're doing good.
next big tournament?
It's what's just started. Today was the first day was Champions League, so you have to come
Yeah,
in,
after that.
you have to come in the top 4. There really isn't another one. It would just
Yeah.
be like the
So
the
we didn't
race
make the
for
big
first place.
FA
You gotta
Cup's,
come in top
FA's
4 to
Cup's
make it.
okay. FA Cup's
Yeah.
okay. That's
can-
all of England, so you're in that.
So what are we competing for right now then? Like I don't know. Shit.
You're-
So
you're
we're
competing
fourth
for
place.
England.
What are we
You're
competing?
Premier League is all English Premier League teams. All
Uh-huh.
that's like your season. If you finish in the top 4 of that, you then get to play against all the other good European teams in Champions League. You finished 5th, so you
And
missed
that's
out
what's
on
going
that.
on right now.
That's
Yeah,
what Zach and
that's what I was talking
right now.
about because I
Okay,
did
okay.
Paris.
So it's a whole season. You
It's
play
a
a whole
whole lo-
season,
yeah,
and then
it's
the
like a
top four. Okay, so it's like the playoffs.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
it's
it's
like-
like division. So you pull in 4 teams from that division and 4 teams from like another
Exactly.
division.
4 teams from Spain, 4
Champions,
teams
all the
from
champions.
Italy,
You get all
4
the
teams from
champions.
England. You get all the champions from across Europe, and then they
So
all
is that
play
why
this
it's
one
called
big
Champions
tournament.
League?
The
You know what I'm saying? They thought about it. They
champions.
thought about it once or twice.
It's the best.
But the
league of all
FA
time.
Cup is all the English teams from all the different English leagues play a tournament.
So they
against
finished
each other.
5th.
Yeah, you guys
finished
just missed.
5th. So you'll be in Europa, which is like the B.
I could have
tournament.
coached this there. It's because
Like
I
the
wasn't
G
rooting for
League.
this. I watch more
Yeah.
games. We make that 4th seed. That's
You know what I'm saying?
My bad.
They're
Premier
waiting on you to
League
turn the tide.
Super fan, man. I gotta be the
If you
super fan.
were if you were an English Premier League team and you wanted to rank the importance of the trophies to win, I would say number 1 you would want to win your league.
Your league, yeah.
Your Premier League is what you want to
Okay.
win. And then number 2 is Champions League, and then number 3 is the FA Cup. That would be the order in which you would want to win the cup.
So even in the top 4 teams, they do have like a mini playoff in that division to get the top 4 teams. Or you just want to finish
No,
first?
so
Just finish top
just
4
one.
in the
it's
standings.
a
Okay.
table, and it's like a draw is 1
Okay.
point and a win is 3 points. Whoever has the most
Okay.
points at the
So you just want to finish
twice.
first with the best record and so forth. Okay.
Yep.
The higher you finish, the better your draw, because it's all a draw to see who you play in the Champions League will be.
Okay. Soccer. Okay.
Yeah. European
Football.
soccer is
Football.
wild because there's so many good teams and good players. They have to find a way for everybody to keep playing each other. So they just like are this. league-
They're insanely creative.
Yeah, it's just there's too much good competition.
If you
So,
had
yeah,
to rename football, what would you name it? American
would-
football.
American
Because
football.
it makes no sense to be called football.
Yeah, absolutely
would-
not.
I
I would
would
call
name
it
it,
like tug of war or something. It's like I don't know, because it's like kind of what you're doing is playing tug of war out there.
Yeah, you're like. You know what I'm saying?
Mute that guy immediately. He said tug of war. Get Drake out of here.
Like, Tug of war.
What we
huh?
gonna name the football? The new football, tug of war. Get out of here.
Wrong. Like felt like
Oh,
Steve
not
Harvey.
it.
Show me tug of war.
Oh, that
No,
is.
sir.
I've been
Oh.
off today, dude. That's like the third time today I've had to excuse myself.
Oh, Jesus, that was funny as hell.
So Terrence gave it
Zach,
a
what do
quick
you got?
pause. He said, "No." Like,
What?
Jesus Christ.
I was thinking
I don't
like
know, like,
gridiron or something, like something.
yeah, gridiron
can't do that.
ball.
That's
I don't
corny.
know.
Iron ball?
Throw ball. I don't know, dude.
Throw
Throw
ball.
ball.
Mute me next.
Shoots and ladders.
We got tug of war and throw ball.
Oh man, this dude said tug of war. That was so damn funny.
Yeah, I'm like, where's the fucking rope? Like,
Like, I don't even understand where we got tug of
go
war
ahead and
at.
take it and hang
feel like
yourself with
that's
it,
what
Jake. What
You
the
talking
fuck
about
do you
the
mean,
D line,
tug of
O
war?
line, like the chains, Jake? What we talking about here? What are we doing?
All right.
Oh my
I don't even
God.
care to
I
say
don't.
what
I don't have a good name for it either, though. So it's random. That could have been opening banter. Actually, that would have been a good.
Trust
opening
me,
banter.
nothing's gonna beat tug of war.
Yeah, nothing topping tug. The tugs.
Well,
Okay,
Terrence
so
was
I
so
guess-
dumbfounded. He let it sit for like 4 seconds. He's like, "What? What the fuck did you just say?"
I couldn't really do say tug of war. That shit was so funny. Like, no, that ain't it. Mute that.
Okay,
man.
well, that's what I've been on. I was excited for that. Jake, what have you been watching? I forgot to even ask you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did anybody get theirs out loud? 'Cause I
Jake's
thought that
watching
ended.
Tug of War on ESPN 8 to Ocho. Like,
I really ain't been
ESPN.
watching shit. I was gonna say I'm just prepping to vote. I got my voter by mail stuff, so
there
I'm
he
about
is.
to go use my voice.
Responsible. Look at. I love that.
But maybe, but maybe I should read a book first.
That is hilarious.
I'm feeling really not smart at the moment, so I don't know if I got a good vote at the moment. I gotta really step my vote up.
Man, I think that is perfect. As always, we are the other team. Zach, Jacob, Terrence. As always, Mamba forever. We are.